And boom, we are live. What's up, YouTube? It's Metal Madness 66. Jeff here with we've got another edition of Gas Mask and Hand Grenades tonight, and we're gonna do the legendary Blue Oyster Cult. And I want to welcome two newbies, two virgins to the program tonight. We've got up in the upper right, my upper right hand corner, we got Dennis from Analog Archives. Dennis, what's happening, brother?
What's up?
And we've got Eli from Dark Hymns from the Cold North. I want to thank both you guys for joining me on a pretty short leash, pretty short notice. And I want to thank Eli kind of for making this happen, because I think had I not posted that picture of Cultosaurus on Instagram and you hit me up and said, dude, let's do a ranking, I don't know that I would have done this. I would have made it happen, but I really do want to thank both you guys for the short notice of doing this. And, you want to talk about your channels real quick, Dennis?
My channel?
Yeah, you want to...
Obscure death and thrash metal from the fucking 80s and 90s.
And a lot of horror stuff, too, right?
And horror shit.
Hardcore,
VHS.
thrash metal, punk rock.
Yeah. Eli, you're pretty much in the same boat. You do a lot of the black metal, obscure black metal, a lot of DVD updates, a lot of cool video shit.
Yeah, metal.
I did link both your channels. Both our channels are linked in the description below the video here. And one other quick note here, or two quick notes, is one, I want to thank the awesome fucking dreadful Rick.
Yes.
Contreras did another killer thumbnail. I pretty much let him run. All I said was, do something with Godzilla and the Reaper in it. And he's like, cool, I got you. You know, he's Rick reads my mind on that shit and does just an amazing job. So
great guy.
Rick kicks ass.
Great guy.
Great dude. Fucking amazing dude.
Thanks, Rick.
Last thing, I'm not going to harp on this, but as most of you know, or many of you know, I have a really very serious health condition that's really kicking my ass the last 2 months. And I am trying to and planning to do a couple more deep dives if I can, and they're going to be really fast and furious. I'm hoping to do one on Atheist with Nick from Thralls and Frederick from Thrash or Die. I think he's Thrash or Die. He's from Australia. He's a great guy.
Cool.
I'm hoping to do that soon. And I don't want to drop a day, but it might be a weekday here coming up. And then Friday night, this coming Friday, I'm hoping to do the Steven Wilson solo catalog, just the solo albums.
Cool.
With Jimmy from Future Ruins and my buddy Serge, who does a lot of my cool deep dives. And then there's one more that I'm kind of planning, and Dennis, this is one, you know, if you want in, it's up to you. I'm throwing it out. You may not have the time or have the interest, but I'm finally going to try to chop into some of the insane Tangerine Dream catalog.
Oh, shit.
Mainly just the Virgin era, though. Just the Virgin era. So from Phaedra through probably like Force Majeure, or I think Ricochet, I think it is. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen. And if I do that, right now it's just Brian Arkham and I that are kind of lined up. But, you know, Dennis, I'm throwing it out. If you're interested, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll probably be interested in that for sure.
So anyways, that's where we're at. Let's get on to the subject at hand. We're going to talk about a legendary band from New York called Blue Oyster Cult. And I realize there are a lot of documentaries out there and deep dives out there, and I'm not proclaiming this is going to be the best or the most fact-based. I'm going to try to be pretty fact-based, but there's a lot of information on this band. It's going to be hard to get it all in and not do a 10-hour episode. But Dennis, tell me, you're close to my age. I think you're what, 49, 50, right?
Yep.
Where did you come in? What's your first memories of BOC? Have you seen them live? What tell me about that.
So I haven't seen them live. In the Bay Area, well, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, BOC used to play there live like every year for free. And like, for some reason, I always miss them. And so I've never got to see them live. I always wanted to, but Never got to see him, but my first, I guess, BOC would be Godzilla.
Not
Probably hearing that when I was a kid. And just like, is this fucking song really about Godzilla? Fuck, man, this fucking rules.
how
Like,
fucking cool is that,
this
right?
band is actually singing about Godzilla. Like, I mean, and I know you guys probably know, but I'm a huge Godzilla fan. Like
Oh,
all
so am
the
I.
shit. Like I've seen all that stuff, and even like Ultraman and Spectreman, all that Japanese, all the sci-fi shit from Japan from back in the day. So, and then just like, and then the Shogun Warriors too. Like Godzilla was my, and even the Marvel comics, all that shit.
Do you have the Criterion reissue of all the Showa stuff?
I have a few of those, and I have the War Gargantuans Criterion as well. I don't have all that stuff. I mainly watch it on VHS.
Yeah, you're a VHS guy, but they did
Yeah.
like 18 of the movies on Blu-ray. It's like a big box set.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's killer, man. I mean, I don't own it. It's the one I've peeked at a bunch of times, and I'm like, man, when they do the 50% sale, I'm gonna grab that
Yeah.
thing. Still
I mean,
about
I have so much
100
Godzilla
bucks.
stuff. It's like, I don't really need much more than what I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I can watch it. Like, if I can just fucking watch that shit on any streaming service, pretty much, and I don't care what quality it is. It's always the best quality for me. So,
Cool.
yeah, I don't
Now,
care
did
about
you hear
that.
Godzilla on the radio, or did you see it on MTV?
No, I heard it on the radio.
Oh, you heard it on radio. Okay,
Yeah. I heard it on the
That'd been-
radio.
that'd been
I
7
probably had to be about 8 or 9 years old. So,
Yeah.
and
How
then
about you,
after,
Eli? Where'd you come in? Oh, real quick, Kevin. Hey, what's up? There's Frederick right there. Thrasher be thrashed. Chris, Depeche Commode. And hey, man, Frederick, I'll try, but you're such a thrash maniac. I don't know if I can break
fucking
into that
Thrasher.
skull of yours. We'll try though. But Eli, where did you fall into the BOC train?
My story is kind of interesting because like anyone that listened to rock radio when they're kids and stuff, I heard their top 3 hits or whatever, and I never cared for them, even though they are great songs. But I just always saw them as like some 70s band. I just did not care to ever even investigate. And then I don't remember what triggered me, but like maybe 7 years ago or so, I know you're not a huge fan of it, but I bought, sorry, not to spoil anything, but I bought Tyranny and Mutation, and it just like blew me away. I was like, okay, I was so wrong about this band. I need to know more about them. And I started digging deeper and then learning about, because not to be a dick, but like so many 70s bands are just like, oh, here's songs about banging 15-year-old girls. Here's songs about driving Corvettes. And I just don't care about that. And I started reading VOC's lyrics. I'm like, holy fuck. It's like occult stuff about vampires. Almost none of their songs, what you might think it meant. None of it's like straightforward, even if some of their songs, they do have like love songs, but they're about like vampire romances and stuff. And it's just so cool. And like,
Yeah.
the more I look into it, I just love them more and more and more and more.
They do like to write about motorcycle clubs.
Yeah.
There's some motorcycle
Yeah.
songs in there. But I
the
mean,
fucking, what's that one
fits their
song?
sound though.
you're right though. They veered away from doing the typical, and they weren't doing Sabbath stuff and talking about Satan. Okay.
No.
But
Yeah.
they were not doing the fucking, the
Yeah.
low Black Betty, the Black Betty shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Bam, bam. They weren't doing
Like
that
they were
kind
doing
of stuff.
sci-fi and alien abduction and just
But I think we'll need
all
to
that.
point out, and I'll get into the history why that is, because the predominant portion of their lyrics were not written by the band members for
Yeah.
a very long time. So we'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a minute.
they had a bunch
me,
of collaborators. Yeah.
Do you remember the first song you heard?
It was probably "Don't Fear the Reaper," which I mean, yeah, it's an overplayed song, but if you really are to play that song and listen to it with just pretend you've never heard it before, it's a fucking amazing song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Dude,
There's a reason why it's endured for
There are songs on the radio that I hear and I immediately switch the radio off.
yeah.
The Reaper is a song I can listen to over and over and over.
Yeah.
I don't care how many
Yeah.
times I've heard it. It's haunting. It's
Yep.
amazing. The guitar playing on it's stunning. The backing
Yeah.
vocals are amazing. It's a fucking genius song.
Yeah.
And
Few people
not
will write a song
surprising.
like that in their lifetime, you know?
Right.
Few people.
Right. So,
Yeah.
my experience is being the old man here. I first heard uh, Godzilla. Well, actually, okay. Ninth grade, I'm probably, what is that, 15, 14, somewhere in that range? Yeah,
Yeah.
ninth grade. So that's
Yeah.
1980. I hear Godzilla through, I joined a band and I was singing lead vocals for this band called Storm. And the one dude, the guitar player, was kind of like, he was in his house, so it was his band. He's like, yeah, we're going to do Godzilla. I'm like, what's Godzilla? And he starts playing it, and I'm like, wait, this sounds familiar. Then it clicked. It's like, oh, yeah, Godzilla. But it really didn't. I'm sure I heard Reaper somewhere along the line, but I don't know that I knew that it was Blue Oyster Cult. But I had to have heard it because, you know, when that came out, it was just in constant rotation, and that's what you had back then. And I know that, like, cognizantly, where I know I was like, oh, BOC was burning for you in '81. So it was that triumvirate of songs, which is probably their three biggest songs. Two of them are for sure.
I'd say so, yeah.
Where I kind of came into them. Now I did get to see them twice. I got to see them open for Rush on the Power Windows tour.
Damn.
In April of 1986, I think it was, in Philly. The story there, though, is it's interesting. I was a mega prog nerd, you know, Yes and Crimson and all that stuff. And my favorite band at that point in time was Marillion. And Marillion opened a handful of dates for Rush on that tour. And wouldn't
That'd
you
be
know,
awesome.
I was so stoked. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get to see Marillion open for Rush, two favorite bands. I'm going to the Philly show. Marillion, last date on the tour, New York City, the night before, or 2 nights before. So I get to the show and BOC comes out. I'm like, fuck, man, are you kidding, man? All right, I'm going to switch over to my headphones, guys. 1 minute. Kevin says he's having trouble hearing me. I just wanted to keep my phone as charged as possible, so give me 1 second here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? All right, better?
Better.
Is that better, Kevin? Let me know. Very quiet. Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
You sound good.
All right, cool. So that and then I saw them sometime in the early 2000s. I think I saw them honestly at a fucking club here in my, not small, but you know, it's about 70,000 people in the town that I live in, and they just played a club show. I want to say it was around For Heaven Forbid. It might have been Curse of the Hidden Mirror. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. All I remember was I got pretty fucking hammered and don't remember much of the show. But, you know, what I recall of that show and the one opening for Rush, where they were a fucking great live band, man. And on the show that they opened for Rush, they were pimping, they were promoting Club Ninja. And the one thing I remember was they did all their really great hits, but they did Dancing in the Ruins. I think they did White Flags from that. And I remember those probably, other than Perfect Water, they're my two favorite songs on the album. Three favorite songs. And I was so stoked. I was like, man, please do Perfect Water. And they didn't do it, which I love that song. So anyway, let's get into a little bit of history here. And I'm going to read off some shit. And I'm an old man, so I need to read my notes. But if you guys have anything you want to add at the end, by all means, we'll jump into that. So BOC was formed in 1967 in Stony Brook, New York area. The original band consisted of Buck Dharma, who is Donald Rosier, on guitars. We had Alan Lanier on keyboards. And we had Albert Bouchard on drums. On bass, we had Andrew Winters. They had a couple different singers. The one that they ended up cutting some demos for Elektra and Columbia, I think it was Elektra and Columbia, was named Les Braunstein. What we need to add in here is that they weren't really a band until one Sandy Pearlman entered the discussion. Yes. Sandy was a college student, I believe, at Stony Brook. He was a very motivated, highly intellectual kind of dude. but he was also a major fan of rock music, and he started working for, and this will should get Dennis. He started working for Crawdaddy. Do you remember Crawdaddy?
Yeah.
I remember the late '70s. I remember
Yep.
seeing issues of that. That started in 1966 and ended in '79. But Sandy worked for them and wrote reviews and concert reviews and articles and things relative to the developing rock scene in the late '60s and early '70s. And he got wind of Buck. I'm going to call him Buck. Dharma and Albert, and that they were kind of jamming with a bunch of different dudes in the New York scene in that upstate New York area. And he connected with these guys at a communal house at Stony Brook College, kind of helped assemble the band and start to manage and get them gigs, and started writing lyrics for their original songs. And he was, quite frankly, a super pivotal part of that band's development all through the '70s into the mid '80s, right up to about the late '80s when the band kind of disbanded for a little while. When they initially were formed, they were called the Soft White Underbelly, which I think is actually a pretty cool name.
It is cool.
Which came from a speech by Winston Churchill about the axis of evil, which was Germany and Italy and Japan. They ended up going through a shit ton of name changes. They were at one point called Oaxaca. The interesting thing is the actual original name of the band, when it was just Buck and Albert, was called the Disciples. Then they were called Travesty. They became Soft White Underbelly, then Oaxaca, and eventually they settled on Stalk Forest Group, which is a kind of an interesting, strange name.
It's weird.
I didn't look into the history of why they went with that, but long story short, Sandy becomes manager, lyricist, promoter, songwriter, producer. He got them some FaceTime with Elektra. They cut some demos with them. First recorded material, 1968 demos. They gave him a contract, and what I read kind of blew my mind. And I don't know, it's Wikipedia, so you never know what you're getting on there, whether it's 100% true. But allegedly, they got $100,000 advance to do that album. That sounds crazy for 1968. Like $100,000 just sounds insane. But it ended up that the singer on those demos left, Les Bronstein.
Yeah.
And they ended up bringing on Eric Bloom, who was a sound engineer, live sound engineer for them and friend of the band. Alan Lanier took a trip with him somewhere, and he heard demos that Eric had cut with the band that he was playing with and said, "Hey man, we want to get you in the band." Let's see. Eric Bloom was brought in, and in 1969 they did a Fillmore East show that was apparently poorly received, and they changed the name then. This was the one where Sandy Pearlman decided that each guy in the band needed to have like a pseudonym. And that's where like Buck Dharma came from. Buck was the only one that kept his name. I didn't write the other guys' names down. You can look that up on Wikipedia. They're all silly. They're like,
Yeah.
Space Station Stan and, Electrical Bob and just weird shit like that. But
That's awesome.
Let's see what else. Anyways, he gets them some FaceTime with Columbia. They do cut an album with them. They do some demos, which some of those we'll talk about as we get into the albums, because they are on they are some of the bonus tracks on the reissues from '07. They end up calling themselves Blue Oyster Cult. Sandy Pearlman calls them that, or dubs the name for that. And the Blue Oyster Cult are a race of aliens that were sent to Earth to basically micromanage Earth, because Earthlings are not capable of managing themselves. We're going to get into the Imaginos stuff, but we'll do that when we get down to the album. Otherwise, I'll be talking about the history for 10 years.
Right.
One other quick thing to mention is there was an Elektra promo album that was cut in 1969, that 300 copies of the promo album were later released. and then it was later. I'm sorry, were released at the time. I didn't
Dennis
look
probably
into-
still has one of those.
I was going to say Dennis probably has that. I'm
I
sure.
don't have it.
If anyone has it.
And you know what? I didn't look that up on Discogs. I might do that when one of you guys are
I
talking
know.
about your
I
history. That
saw
thing's
that. I was
got
like,
be.
oh shit, I need that demo.
I know
Yeah.
you're going to be chasing that fucker down. I know it. Real quick on that, then, like I said, Elektra shelved their first album. So did Columbia initially, because there was some demos that had less on that, I believe, for Columbia. And then when he left, they shut him down, and then Eric Bloom had to re-record all the vocals. But real quickly on this, that Elektra promo material is available on something called the Saints. It's called Saint Cecilia, the Elektra Recordings, which was issued in 2001. They settled on BOC as the name in 1971. It comes from a 60s poem by Perlman, part of the Imaginist trio. And here's a bit of history. BOC, not Motorhead, not Motley Crue, not any of these fucking death metal bands, and none of the black metal bands. They were the very first band to use the umlauts. So there you go.
I didn't know that.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it there.
Nah, dude, there was a German band from 1972 that used it before that.
Well, it says here 1971 was BOC. So
Just
there you
kidding, dude.
go. All right, let's see. What else? Do I have anything else history-wise to get into real quick here? Oh, I wanted to mention one other quick thing, and then we'll get into these albums. Martin Popoff, I think everybody knows who Martin Popoff is if you're a rock dude, has written a couple of great books about BOC. I did not write the titles down. I think he's got 4.
Martin is a machine, dude.
Yeah.
He's
But
written
one
like
of them-
200 books. It's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
he is. He is. I have some of his Rush books, and they're great. I did not pick up the BOC stuff, but one of them is a back history and a deep dive into the Imaginos story.
Damn.
I got to be honest with you. If it wasn't $40, I'd probably grab it. If it was soft cover 15, 20, I'd probably grab it. But because of my health situation, my finances won't allow me to blow 40 on a book right now. But I would love to read that because
Can you imagine being that guy? He like has so much he wants to talk about. He wants to write so many books, but he can't. He's like, oh, I gotta write this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this.
He is literally a machine.
he is a
that
machine,
guy.
though, man. And then he's doing all this stuff on YouTube the last 2 years
Yeah.
since the YouTube thing blew up. Over
I don't
the
know how he
pandemic.
does it.
So
He
he's on
doesn't
with-
sleep.
well, he's on with Pardo. He's on with Lara the Alchemist. He's on with Ralph. What's his name? Almost Human dude, Ralph Vieira.
Then he's on that Canadian channel.
Then he's got Contrarians.
Contrarians,
He's got the Contrarians, which is his thing. So,
yeah.
hats off to Martin Popoff, because I think if there's a historian that knows more about the band than him, I wouldn't know who it would be other than the band members themselves. Yeah. So it should be noted that we lost Alan Lanier in 2013 and we lost Sandy Perlman in 2016. Yeah. And the reality of it is these guys are getting old, man. I mean, you know, Buck and Bloom are my mom's age. She's 78.
Yeah.
Albert's in that range too. So we're going to talk more about Albert when we get to Imaginos and through. So are you guys ready? You got anything you want to add history-wise, Eli?
Other than like, you know, I've already told you this numerous times, but I think they might be the most underrated band from the 70s. Even though they were stars, they made probably a ton of money, they sold a lot of albums, but I still think that they're underrated. You know, I think they deserve way better than Boston or Aerosmith or Bad Company or, you know.
Look, I like a lot of those bands, so I'm not going to get into who's better than who, but
yeah.
As Dennis and I said when we first got on, when I re-listened to these albums, I was stunned how, boom, earworm. I know how this song goes. Boom, earworm. I know how that song goes. Like,
yeah,
every song on Secret Treaties, I can fucking sing to you except Cagey Cretins. I can sing practically every song to you off the first album. I won't do it, but I could. Almost every song off Spectres and Agents. I know them like crazily, and they were fucking from what I want to call the classic period with Albert. Oh, I didn't mention Joe Bouchard, Albert's brother, then joined the band when the bass player left, Winters left, and I think that was it. That's thought to be the classic lineup from 70 on till about 86, 88 in that range when they started to splinter and lost their contract with Columbia. But that classic period, there's only one or two albums that are kind of for me, and they're the 80s albums, and we'll talk about them. So let's get into the albums, guys. I'm ready to do it. What I tend to generally do is I will give the information on the album, year it came out, date, and stuff like that, and then we'll go around robin on songs. You want to go track by track? I'm cool with that. It's up to you. Oops.
Jeff, this is that live album I was telling you about, by the way.
Okay.
It's so fucking good. I think this is their best live album.
I have
that one?
It's called Made in America.
Oh.
It is. I'll just read this really quick because it's pretty cool. It's not just another live album, but it's I'll give you the kind of the stats. So it came out after Fire of Unknown Origin, and it's the last live album with like that early classic lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I've heard all their live albums, and I think this one, it just came out, I think, this year. But I think this one is the best.
Let's do it in order. Let's talk about it around Fire of Origin, because we're going to talk about the other three, but I'm not going to get into those deep. We're going to mainly do studio cut.
That's why I brought it up now, because I don't really have anything to say about their other live albums. But,
okay, cool.
That one is just so good. Okay.
That shit fucking rules.
We'll piggyback off you then.
So the first album, Dennis, you have it on vinyl?
I do, but I can't find it.
Oh shit! No kidding.
Yeah, I have so many records here. I can't find that shit, but I do have it on vinyl somewhere.
All right, so this is the 07 remaster reissue, which I'm going to blow myself up here real quick, and it has some bonus tracks, as you can see. Two of those are demos. The first, they're all demos from the '69 album, I do believe. Some kind of weird titles, Betty Lou's got a new pair of shoes, a fact about sneakers. What is Quicksand was their very first single that they released. I'm not going to lie. I haven't listened to those in a long time. I did all my listening on streaming today, and they did not have these up. So I'm primarily going to concentrate on just the bulk of the regular tracks. I don't remember any of those four being anything crazy good, but on some of the other remaster reissues, the bonus tracks are pretty good. I think the first thing we got to look at is that artwork is fucking badass.
I mean,
go for it, Dennis.
I was just gonna say, like the first three records, just a black and white covers.
Black and white.
Yep.
I mean, but this one's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
There's something about this album that's just so mysterious and cool looking and badass. Dennis, you want to talk about this one? I'll go last. We'll start with you, and we'll jump to you and Eli.
Yeah. So this one for me, this is a record that I didn't really know about. I just bought it because of the name. So, but then when I listened to it, I was just blown away, especially by Trismanicon or Trismaniacon or however you pronounce it.
Transmaniacon.
Transmaniacon. That song fucking riffs, dude. I mean, this album has. I would say this record, and if you look at it, I mean, even the band members will say, we're trying to be the U.S. Black Sabbath, but there's a lot of Steppenwolf on this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you can hear some Zeppelin. You can hear some Hendrix on this record. There's a lot of stuff, but then they take it to another level with this kind of this almost a psychedelic feeling on their songs. Right. So it mixes everything in, and just this album is fucking. It probably one of their, it definitely in their top 4 records for sure.
Well, where did you rank it? Do you want to rank it?
Yeah, I'll rank it. Shit, man. I'm going to go
15 albums.
I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go number 4 on this one.
Nice. Any You said Transmaniacon. You want to pick out any other songs that really blow you away?
Yeah, Last Days of May.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, man, dude, that song. I mean, there's so many. Every song on this is. So here's the thing with this record is I don't have it in front of me, so I can't see the names of the songs. But every song on this is so different. I guess if you want to say that.
That's a good.
That's
That's a good
that's what
assessment.
I like about BOC is they can make a record and everything can sound. You can have they have records that are like they flow. This record
Yes.
just flows, but it's different.
Yeah.
And they do different styles, and they have all those different styles. And it's like a band that wants to play Sabbath and wants to do Zeppelin, but they just don't. So it comes out different. I don't know if that makes sense.
Makes
It
perfect
comes out
sense.
different, and the lyrics on this record, that it's just amazing record, man. Cities Aflame with rock and roll.
Oh,
I mean, this record has nothing on it that isn't good. So, if you're gonna get into Blue Oyster Cult, I probably start with this record just because it's where they started and it makes the most sense because it seems like a band that came out of this kind of hippie
Yeah.
stage and got into this rock stage. They're kind of college kids and they're like, let's sound like Sabbath, but we have all these other influences and they just it just molded into this record. So I don't understand like how people would get into this, but somehow they did. And I know a lot of people rate this record as their best, and I get that. I mean, for the time, this was like a super original record that
yeah. Yep.
this sounded like nothing else that was out at the time. So,
Well,
I mean,
let me interject real quick, and here's why. I wanted to start with this and before we got into the albums, but I'm going to throw the big question out there. Heavy metal. Is this band heavy metal? Because I asked that question because Sandy Pearlman is credited as being one of the originators of that phrase. Now, the heavy metal moniker goes way back to like the early 60s with Burroughs and the Soft
mhm.
Machine. He referred to the heavy metal kids in that, and heavy metal was referred to as hard drugs and all that stuff. But Lester Bangs also used it a lot to describe bands in the Cream magazine. But Sandy Pearlman was using it in his Crawdaddy reviews, and he kind of dubbed this band heavy metal. I say they're proto metal. I do not think they're a heavy metal band, but they are so metal adjacent and heavy metal adjacent, you almost can't escape it.
Well, I think with BOC, they have some metal songs, if you want to say that. I don't consider them a metal band. I consider them a hard rock band. I consider them a psych band, a prog band.
Yep, prog.
I can even consider them an easy listening AM radio band.
AOR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do everything, but they do it all. They can do it all really well because they can write the songs. So,
well, you know, another AOR band that I fucking love, and I don't care what anybody says, is Journey, right? I mean, they're like the kings of AOR. However, they have some kick-ass rockers. We all know, if you know anything about guitar, Neil Sean's a fucking beast of a monster of a guitar player.
Yes.
And they had what we could argue over it, but Steve Perry, probably the god of AOR vocals for that era. But what BOC didn't do that Journey did do was they didn't write a Open Arms or a Faithfully.
Right.
They wrote weird shit like Sinful Love or Tenderloin or Vera Gemini, which is weird. They're a weird band, but they're an amalgam. They're an alchemical amalgam of a ton of different influences. And like you said, they maybe wanted to sound like Sabbath, but knew they weren't gonna be Sabbath.
Right.
So they still had the barroom boogie vibe in the early albums, and yet they transformed into this incredible songwriting band right from the get-go on that first album.
Yeah.
Um,
I think with Bloom and Dharma, they fed off each other because Bloom wanted to do hard rock and shit,
right.
and Dharma's like, nah, we're gonna do
Let's sound more proggy and let's get
right, and then
like
it like those two fed off each other to make this like a different kind of band that like you have to listen to those records. This is
yes.
not something you're gonna like put on the record player and be like, oh, I like this record. No, you have to listen to this shit like multiple times to understand it.
And then they start to become those songs become earworms. And I want to get your opinion in a sec here, Eli. One thing I do want to add that I think is very important is you mentioned Buck and Bloom, and they are clearly the two kind of alphas in the band.
Yeah.
But when Albert Bouchard was in the band, he was an incredibly important piece of the puzzle because that guy wrote a lot. He was helping Sandy Pearlman produce. The other thing to note about this is that Alan Lanier and Joe Bouchard contributed, and I think maybe the most important aspect of this band that you don't have with a lot of bands, though every guy in this band was a writer and a singer.
Yep.
And you don't see that much. In Sabbath, it was primarily Tony and Bill. In Yes, it was Yes might be another one that was pretty interspersed with everybody, John and Steve, but I don't know, like, okay, King Crimson. You know, Fripp is manning that shit most of the way through. Genesis, it's mostly in the early phase, it's mostly Peter Gabriel and Tony Banks. You know what I mean? There's usually two alpha personalities, or one, like Steven Wilson and Porcupine Tree, or give me another band that like one guy does everything. Wasp. You know,
Chris Holmes?
What's that? No,
Chris Holmes?
maybe in the early albums, but you see who does everything now. Blackie does everything.
Yeah, he controls it, but Chris Holmes wrote all that shit.
But I'm talking about like after Chris left, after the first three albums, which are their best albums, no doubt. But this, I think it's important to note on BOC that all these guys were multi-instrumentalists. They were multi-talented. They all can fucking sing incredibly well. And what that brought to the melting pot was different styles that they made work. And like you said, Dennis, during the classic period from the first album through, I'd say Revolution, up to Revolution by Night, the albums are so varied, but damn near every fucking song is great on every album. That you can't say that about many bands,
right?
And so, you know, Sabbath, you got what you got. I love Sabbath, but you know what you were going to get. You were going to get heavy.
We're going to get Sabbath.
You were going to get Sabbath, right? Eli, what's your thoughts on anything you wanted to add into that?
Yeah, the first album is that's one I didn't spend as much time with as some of the others, but I've been listening to it lately, and I like it way more now. It's almost, I almost kind of feel like they tried to almost redo it with Tyranny and Mutation, but it even has one of the same songs, but it's more dark, and it has I know it's probably not the production they wanted, but the gritty production just makes it sound so much heavier and darker. And yeah, it's a cool chapter. You know, obviously they'd progress a lot, but I mean, they're still so good on this first album. Like Dennis says, there's like a lot of psychedelic elements, and it's really muddy and heavy. For its time, it's got to be one of the heaviest albums of, you know, the year. What was it, 1970?
No, you know what? I forgot to do my fucking intro on when the album came
72.
out. So,
oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 72. It was came out January 16th, 1972. It was recorded at Warehouse Studios.
Oh, it's my birthday. Good.
I'm sorry?
January 16th is my birthday.
Yeah, January 16th, 72. Were you born in 72? Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's crazy, man. How about that? Nice. So a couple more factoids here. It was recorded at the Warehouse in New York. Columbia Records put it out. It was completely recorded on 8-track tape, and that probably is why it has that sort of production. I think the production on this album is fucking great. I love it. It's spacious.
Definitely great.
It's really cool. and it was also engineered by David Lucas, I think the guy's name is. He was a jingle producer that had a studio in New York, and that's where they recorded it. I love the production on this album. I've got no
it's
issue
great.
with it at all.
No, I like it too. Yeah.
You want to pull any tracks out there, Eli, to talk about? Because I am going to go track by track, guys. I hate to do that to you, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, so it's got shit. I'm bad with song titles. Which is the one that shows up on Tyranny? Is it Stairway to the Stars? No. Anyway, there's one of these songs.
No,
I really
there's nothing on the first album that's on the second album, dude.
Really? I could have sworn.
Nope.
Okay, I might be wrong. The Transmaniacon song, like Dennis says, awesome. It's about a motorcycle club. I think a fictional one, but either way, it's I guess they did like motorcycles. I would assume, because I think that theme comes up from time to time. Stairway to the Stars, though, that's probably my favorite. Workshop of the Telescopes is good too.
Yeah, I like Workshops.
Yeah. And Screams is a cool song that was written by Joe Bouchard. It was about him moving to New York City for the first time and being terrified. Because, I mean, as you guys know, like, I've never been in New York, but 70s and 80s, it was like one of the most violent places in the entire country.
Place, yeah.
So
I was there in the 80s. I went up in 1982. So
oh shit, not a good time.
that was when 42nd Street was still 42nd Street, and as a 10th grader, I got to walk into my first titty bar. I was like, yes!
You got to fucking walk 42nd Street?
Walk 40. We went on a high school trip. We went up we went up in the Twin Towers. We ate at Mama Leone's, and a bunch of us left the restaurant without the teachers knowing. We kind of snuck out right around the corner. Right around the corner, we walked into a titty bar. They didn't cart us, didn't say a word, and we were able to buy Mickey's, the little 7.
Fuck yeah, little
man.
Bottles.
10th grade, bro. 10th grade.
Jeff, one quick thing I forgot.
Yeah,
I almost forgot about this entirely. I used to work with this old guy, and he told me that he worked at a hotel like in the mid 70s, and BOC were there, and I guess he started talking to them, and they tipped him with a tab of acid.
Sweet,
so
man.
That's kind of a cool story.
All right, well, I'm gonna rip into this quick because I fucking love this album. It's number 6 for me. How about for you, Eli?
Let's see, what did I get it at? Honestly, it probably could rank higher if I had listened to it more, but I have it. Even still, I have it at number 4.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay, I'm probably the low man on the totem because Dennis had it at 4 too. I love this album, Transmaniacon, about Altamont. It was about the Altamont thing.
Yeah,
with the Stones.
That's right.
MC equals Motorcycle Club.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. Transmaniacon. I said I wasn't gonna sing, but I know I'm gonna sing a little bit. So.
Dude, Eric Bloom is the man. His fucking vocals are so
good.
good.
There's no other fucking song at this time period that sounds like that song.
What I have in here is bluesy, but has this weird chromaticism, which it does. Da-na-da-na, and it da-na-na-na-na. It's got those chromatic notes that are so fucking cool. I'm on the Lam, probably my least favorite song on the album. It's just kind of weird. It's about a fugitive that Albert knew that. Whatever. Last Days of May. Holy fucking shit, is that song
right
so
there,
good.
Man.
Holy shit, is that song incredible. And what it showcases is Buck's incredible songwriting and his amazing vocals. He's got this smooth, just awesome voice. I love Eric, don't get me wrong, but I really gravitate towards Buck's songs a lot of the time. I just love his voice.
Yeah,
great guitar work on it about a drug deal that went bad from 2 guys he allegedly knew. Before the Kiss of Red Cap, it's okay. That's probably my second least favorite song on the album, but I do like it. City's on Flame with Rock and Roll. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on. That fucking song just destroys.
That's
so
shit.
Good.
I like the fucking guitar is like so fuzzed out on that shit.
and the vocals, man, are so damn good, man. And that's a stadium rocker right there.
Yeah.
That's a so good. Stairway to the Stars, killer. That's all I got to say. My favorite song on the album, though, bar none, Screams.
Yeah,
it's
Screams.
So weird. It's psychedelic. It's got all those killer backing vocals. It's it's haunting. It's weird. It's just so good. I love that song.
Screams is probably one of the best songs on that record.
And then the weird one, She's as Beautiful as a Foot. I love this song. I love it.
It's a weird song.
Long dude, I hate that shit.
I love that song. It's so fucking weird. It's so bizarre,
it is weird.
man.
I'm like, what is this? Like, I can't. I might get into it later, but like the chorus, like.
Here's what you got, Dennis. Here's what you got to do. Go into it with this word in your mind: sinister. Listen to it with that word in your mind. It's just got this weird, sinister vibe to it. Yeah. Workshop, man.
It's just the chorus. I can't take that fucking lyric. I can't
it's
take it.
It's a little awkward. It's an awkward title.
It's very 60s. It's very 60s.
Yeah.
And then Workshop of the Telescopes, man, psychedelic.
That song
fucking
man.
Killer lyrics to it. And, Redeemed was a song I didn't think I liked for a long time, but after I listened to it, really grew on me. It's a really cool album closer. This is a 9.5, although I ranked it at 6 because I think there are 5 that are better than it. Only 2 tracks that I don't really like. There are bits of prog, psych, hard rock, boogie, which boogie is not my favorite genre, which is you're gonna find that out on the next album we're gonna talk about. But it's not metal, even though they talk about being metal. It's a mix of so many styles. There's a lot of great guitar playing on it. I love the production, and this is an album that gets better with every listen. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, man, this album is so fucking good. So yes, I agree with Dennis. Not a bad place to start. I don't think it's the one I would recommend to start with, but it's in the top 3 probably to start with.
Where are you going to start with, Jeff?
The next album we're going to talk about.
Really?
Oh, no, not the next. No.
Okay.
No, that's the one you don't really care for.
I'm not revealing my secrets yet. Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Go.
Are we ready to move on to Tyranny and Mutation, boys?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about that real quick. Do you have that on album, Dennis? You have any of them, or am I showing mine?
Well, I don't have that. That's the one record I don't have because I never really cared for that record. But I do like it now. I think, I don't know, for some reason that record never drew me in, but listening to it now, it has a beefier production than the first record, I would say.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's more of it feels like they went for a more Sabbath-y, like Sabbath light record on that one, but
well, let's
I like it, but go ahead, man.
Let's do this. Let me show it. And
okay.
What did I do with it?
Yeah, I didn't pull mine out either. I should have. I just brought that live album.
What did I do with it? I just had it sitting here. What the heck?
You know what I think about this band though? I was thinking about it today when I was listening to those really early albums, and I feel like I think they were really trying to bring into the 70s. They were trying to bring in like that 50s, like old style American rock and roll, like Chuck Berry and stuff like that.
A bit of that.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So here's the, I want to show this quick before I actually show the album. I don't know because I'll tell you the truth. If you want to get all the Columbia albums, man, there is no better way to do that than to pick this box set up. Okay.
Oh shit.
You guys know I'm the king of the box sets.
I just bought that,
dude. It is so worth, it's so worth getting. I paid about $90 for this when it first
came out. It's $50 on eBay.
You can find them for $45-$50 on eBay now.
Yep.
And you're dumb if you don't buy it. If you're going to get into BOC, if you buy each album individually on CD or record, you're going to spend a small fortune. You can get them all right here.
Yeah.
All but the last 3.
The bonus tracks too.
And all the bonus tracks and the bonus rarities disc we'll talk about at the end.
Oh,
but again, the second in the black and white. Love this artwork. Again, stellar artwork.
That's one of the best artworks.
It's so killer. Yeah, Dennis, go ahead and talk a little bit about this album. But let me just say one quick thing about it. Came out February 11th, 1973, was produced by Sandy Pearlman and Murray Krugman, who also was involved in the first album. This also was released as a stereo quad LP on 8-track tape and LP in 1974. I did not know that. I've never even seen those. There was the only single that was released from this album was Hot Rails to Hell. And what else do we have here? It was Columbia Studios is where they recorded it. So, Dennis, go. Or no, I'll start with Eli. We'll bounce back and forth between you two.
All right.
So, give me your thoughts on Tyranny and Mutation, sir.
Sounds like I like this album quite a bit more than you guys. This was the first album of theirs I actually ever heard and listened to the whole way through. It is very boogie, like you said. And I'm not a big like boogie rock fan either, but for some reason this one just really works for me. It just sounds like so many. It's probably their most boogie album. I don't know if I'd say it's super heavy, but it's really bouncy and catchy. And it was my favorite album of theirs for a long time. But now the more I listen to some of the others, I guess I would say I'm liking it a little bit less. I had to look up a lot of the lyrics to this album because so many of the lyrics and the titles, like I just could never make sense of them.
Right.
So it's worth reading into, just because I mean, what the hell is a baby ice dog and Wings Wetted Down? I think that's the first song they wrote about vampires.
That's a cool track.
Yeah, that's the Bouchard brothers. But yeah, so I would rank this at a let's see, where do I have it? I had to write this down. Not as high as before, but I'm still giving it a I guess I bumped it down to 5. It used to be my number 1.
Oh wow, no shit.
Number 1?
Wow.
It used to be my number 1, but now it's a 5.
Any other tracks on there really jump out at you?
Yeah, I really like Hot Rails to Hell is cool. I don't know, another song, weird song title, 7 Screaming Dizbusters.
Great.
I just like how they mentioned Lucifer and stuff. I think that's pretty cool because that's pretty taboo back then. And I said the last song, Mistress of the Salmon Salt's cool too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Dennis, what you got on this one, man?
So I think I like the production on this record. I think it's heavier than the first record. I think they went for a heavier sound.
Yep.
I don't think the songwriting is eclectic as the first record. I think they went for more like a commercial sound. I really like Hot Rails to Hell, and Wings Wetted Down is a great fucking track.
Yep.
I like this record. It doesn't like jump out at me, I guess, as much as the first record. I think it has great lyrics. I think the writing on it's good. It feels more like a studio kind of record, I guess, if you can say that. More like, hey, we want you to write these kind of songs to play on the radio. But it's a heavy record. The songs are heavy. Red and Black's a good song. I think the songs they're strong songs. It's probably not one of my favorite records, but like you were saying, it's more boogie oriented. But I like it. It has I like the production on it. It's definitely a good record, but not my favorite.
Where are you going to rank this one at?
Out of how many?
Well, there's 14 albums, I believe. Yeah.
14? Oh shit. Where was the last one? 4?
I think you put that at 4.
4, yeah.
We'll go with this one at 7.
Okay. All right.
Right in the middle.
I found my reissue copy. As you can see, this one has 4 bonus tracks. And
Damn.
Eli, you were kind of right. You must have listened to this version because it does have Cities of Flame, a live track, but it's not. It's the bonus thing. But there's Buck's Boogie is on here, which is an instrumental. It's got a 14-minute live version of seven Screaming Dizbusters.
Holy shit! 14
that frankly
minutes.
is a little bit too long in my opinion. And then they do a live version of OD'd on Life too. I had these before I got the box set. Like I got these around 2007 when they came out. At the first 5 or 6 of them, I think I have. And then when the box set came out, I'm like, man, I got to grab that. I have some other weird oddities I'll show too. So for me, this album does not rank highly. It is number 11. It is towards the bottom. And the reason is this is kind of deemed their heavy metal album in a weird way. That's what I've always read. And while I do think it's kind of heavier overall, especially
Yep.
the first half of it, the first 4 songs, um, I don't. I think the first 4 songs are a little too samey. I don't think the eclectic, as you mentioned, uh, Dennis, the writing's not as eclectic. It's not
Yeah.
as interesting to me. I do like the Red and the Black. It's okay. OD'd on Life itself, I like it. I don't love it. Hot Rails is pretty good. I would say my favorite song on this album is Mistress of the Salmon Salt, Quicksand Girl. I love that song.
It's cool.
It's almost like a 50s song in a weird way.
Yeah.
They do that all the
60s
time.
song.
I love when they do
Yeah.
that. They love that old 50s good old rock and roll, you know.
And then
But here's the
Seven-
thing.
Okay, sorry.
I think we all go back to that is like, well, this song is like super like eclectic sounding. It doesn't sound like it should sound on this record. So I think that's how we kind of see this, and it's like, oh shit, this like doesn't make any sense on this record, but it sounds great.
That's
yeah,
true.
I mean, those first 3 songs are very boogie oriented, and I'm not
Yeah.
a boogie guy too much. I
Yeah, they
really like you. I love Uriah Heep, but Uriah Heep did that too. They put a boogie tune or two on their album. Like Demons
they
and
would.
Wizards has that. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, dude, that almost ruins a perfect album for me.
I don't like
one
it either.
song.
Yeah, I
You know,
also
it's
don't
got
like
shit
that.
like Rainbow Demon and The Wizard and Astral Traveler, and then you put that boogie song in there. Like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, doesn't.
So
fit.
that's why this one I struggle with. Baby Ice Dog, I really don't like at all. 7 Screaming Dizbusters, though, listen to that song again and listen to the very beginning, and when it goes into the chorus, that's an Allman Brothers song. The guitars are right straight out of the Allman Brothers, just a little more boogie oriented. Wings Wetted Down, that's probably my 3rd favorite song on the album. And I do like Teen Archer. Again, it's the only Buck song, and I really like that song too. So, you know, like I said, lots of people call this their speed metal album. I don't really hear that. It's faster.
Speed metal.
I've seen that. I've seen that in reviews, man. Yeah, but
It's a heavy record. I give it that. The production it's fucking tight as far as the production. That's a heavy production on this record as far as Blue Oyster Cult goes. So I can see that. I don't see speed metal, but I see a heavier record than the first.
Oh
record.
yeah. But it's weirdly it should appeal to me more, but it doesn't because of the boogie aspect and the fact that they weren't as varied as the first album.
Yeah.
For me.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Lack of variety.
And again, one of the other things is too, I don't think the songs on here are nearly as catchy as the first album. That to my ears, I don't hear that. So
yeah, it's not.
All right, man. Are we done with Tyranny?
Yep.
All right, let's move on to Secret Treaties, which is right here. Oops. Killer layout. Really cool. That plane there, I believe, is an ME-262 German fighter plane. I know there was a reason why they used it, and I don't remember what it is, but interesting. Check this out. When you look at the back cover, you guys pick up on anything there? The dead dogs laying around.
Yeah. So to me, this record cover, I don't know what it is about it, but it reminds me of something sci-fi, like something close encounters of the third kind for me.
Right.
I don't know why that is. And like you said, with the dead dogs on the back, it reminds me of something like a plane that came from like another parallel dimension.
Like out of the Bermuda Triangle or something.
Right. Like something that came out of somewhere where it shouldn't have come out with. And like these people were from another time period. And they came into this.
Well, this came out April 74. I don't have an actual date. I couldn't find that. Columbia Studios again, Perlman and Krugman producing, and Columbia Records. It peaked at number 3 in the U.S. charts. Tyranny had only gotten up to 122. This is the album they sort of say is proto metal. Again, I don't really see that. I don't really hear it. This is also the only album that Buck Dharma does not sing a song on, interestingly enough. and all the lyrics are by Perlman. Brad Meltzer, I think, was the guy, and they start working with Patti Smith. And Patti
Yep.
Smith
Yep.
from the 70s. I don't
Yeah.
know if she was dating one of the guys, if Albert was dating her, if there was some connection there, if they just knew her from New York.
She was dating one of them. I
think
read.
she might have.
Yeah.
But yeah, who wants to go first? Dennis, we'll let you roll on this one.
I'm going with me.
Yeah, man.
Oh shit! I got this one on vinyl.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Woo!
There's the bag. Yeah, man. This is the one. So this record for me, this is one I got later in life, and I was like, "Wow, what the fuck? Who the
Yes.
fuck is this band?" And so, like, I'd heard of Blue Oyster Cult or whatever. I liked them, but when I heard this record, I was like, "This is a great record."
Next level.
Yes,
shit,
next
right?
level. I mean, Career of Evil, man, that song, dude. Yeah, that song fucking destroys. It's probably at least one of their top like 4 songs ever written. Dominance and Submission.
Great song.
Here's the thing with this record. I feel like they brought in more of they brought back their eclectic vibe from the first record.
Yep.
And they brought in this kind of a cult. I would say there's kind of a cult feeling in these songs, or like this feeling to them. And Flaming Telepaths. Oh my god, dude, that
so
shit
fucking good.
And they also brought this New York punk vibe to some of the songs, like Dominance and 262, and then that fucking Astronomy song, dude.
Okay, they also brought in the P word, dude. This is probably when they bring in the prog.
Yep.
Definitely a prog element, and especially on Astronomy.
Astronomy. So here's the thing, and I know everybody's gonna kill me on this shit, but Astronomy, that has a fucking. I think Maiden stole that shit, because that shit sounds like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner to me. And if you listen to that, that's totally fucking Maiden stole. I don't say the song itself, but the structures of that song, they stole that. Every time I hear that song, I think, oh shit, sounds like fucking Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. But yeah, man, it's so fucking great. I love this record. It's definitely in my top.
Where's this rank?
3.
Okay. All right.
3.
I have a lot to say about the song Astronomy. I'm going to tell you right now. That is my number 1 favorite fucking Beatles
Makes sense.
song.
Makes sense.
Hands down, not even close. All the other tunes are close, but Astronomy is on another level. It's such a fucking amazing song, man. I never really checked it out, but I'm going to go listen to Rhyme after this.
You should, dude.
Yeah, I should have heard that, and I'm really surprised I didn't. So
the way he sings in that structure, listen to Astronomy, because I mean, Astronomy and Rhyme, there's almost like the way he's storytelling in that song, it almost sounds the same way. And I didn't hear it until maybe a while ago, and I was like, wow, man, this could be a Maiden song. I mean, obviously the guitars and everything are not the same, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about structures.
Right. Let me just read something here. Eli, I'm going to get to you in 1 second here. Let me just pull the lyrics out for Astronomy. They're so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. They don't have them in here. Fuck. Oh, wait. They're there. They're there. Okay. So Astronomy was a Joe Bouchard, Albert Bouchard, and Sandy Pearlman track. And that makes a lot of sense, because those guys were the real nuts and bolts of the more, Eric and Buck were more the mystic rockers, or not the mystic rockers, more the rockers. And you had Albert and Joe and Sandy were more the mystic, occult, eclectic sort of thing. But I love these fucking, oh my God. Clock strikes 12 and moon drops burst out at you from their hiding place. Like acid and oil on a madman's face, his reasons
already sounds like Maiden.
Away. Well, yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right now that I think of it. His reasons tend to fly away like lesser birds on the 4 winds, like silver scrapes in May, and now the sand's become a crust. Most of you have gone away. Come, Susie dear, let's take a walk just out there upon the beach. I know you'll soon be married, and you'll know where the winds come from. Ah, man, I can't read it all because I'll be here all night. But that song is a mind fucking blower. It is so goddamn good.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll say hi to Dan. We'll also address this. Not this. This guy right here. This guy right here is saying that this isn't his top 5.
Come on, man. Come on, Devin.
Devin, we can't help that you're stupid, man. We can't fix that. I'm sorry. All right, Eli, what you got on Secret Treaties?
I like this album a lot. I think this album's better than the first 2 albums put together.
Yep.
I feel like they were really stepping up their game. Like Eric was sounding better. The guitar riffs and solos were becoming more more tight and classy sounding. Even though they Buck Dharma has that 50s rock and roll style, he was getting tighter and you could say a little bit more metal at times. I love the song Dominance and Submission. That pretty ballsy for a band to write that in like 74. Just because of the subject matter. That part doesn't really matter. It's just such a cool song. And like you said, Astronomy is an amazing song. Astronomy. Flaming Telepaths is awesome. Actually, I don't think I dislike any of the songs here. Career of Evil, the first song might be my favorite. 1 and 3 might be my favorite tracks, but those last like 3 are super good. And I also think, this is lyrically when they were starting to get more interesting too. They were but they were really writing those cryptic lyrics that, like I said, I had to research because I didn't know what any of it meant. Like Flaming Telepaths is about like psychedelic drug use, like experimenting with, psychedelics. And
that I didn't know, actually.
Yeah. Astronomy, the lyrics, I think, did you say they were written by Susie?
Perlman and Albert.
Yeah. Perlman, God, they would have never been the band that they are without Perlman.
No.
Some of the lyrics, I think he was one of the weird lyric writers. So I have this album at a pretty high. I think I have this at number 2, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nick, where'd it go here? First of all, real quick, hit a few comments. Look, Frederick, I'm not gonna lie. There is a fair amount of AOR in EOC, but the reality of it is it's fucking choice, top-notch AOR. It's the shit. It's the shit, man. And there aren't many bands that could do AOR like these guys, but they always had a weird edge to them, man. It was always kind of a sinister edge to what they were writing, a darker edge to it. So, Nick agrees with us. Secret Treaties. See, now Devin is 23, 24, I think he is now. And, he wasn't there in the 70s or 80s to check it out. What he's hearing here, I'm not sure. But then I always question his judgment on most everything. So,
I mean, let him like what he likes, man. I mean, he might not like that. I mean,
that's true.
Let him decide what he likes. I mean, we're not here to tell anybody what they like. So
no, I just like to fuck with him because he wanted my Astros to lose and they're up 3-0. So there we go. Oh, and by the way, Devin, when does LA Dodgers play next? Who do they play next? All right, so I'm going to go into Secret Treaties real quick. This album is my number 1 by a long shot. I fucking love every song but KG Cretin's on here, and KG Cretin's I like. The reason I love this album so much is that literally every fucking song on here is an earworm. I know it like the back of my head. I could sing Career of Evil, and you got Subhuman, you got Dominance and Submission, you got ME262, which starts out with that boogie, but then it gets into that weird like triple time part towards the end. Harvester of Eyes, that's so good. Flaming Telepaths, amazing song. Flaming Telepath is so good. That keyboard, you know, the piano, the dun 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 dun
Oh
dun.
yeah,
It just
yeah.
So great.
sucks you in, man.
And
But
Jeff, would you say
again,
this album is where he really starts to come in with more of a keyboard presence? It kind of starts here.
yeah, the keyboards get a lot more prominent in these coming albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the piano and the synthesizers and stuff. And Alan starts contributing songs.
Adds a whole new layer to all their songs too. Like,
But yeah, this album, man, it's one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. I fucking love this album. It's dark, it's weird. There's psych on it, there's prog on it.
oh yeah.
Yep.
The song Astronomy alone is worth the price of owning this album.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about Astronomy in a couple of albums coming up again. They
Right.
redo it.
Yep.
And it's not nearly at this level. Astronomy is their epic song, like you said, like the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Yep.
On the 2000 reissue, there are 5 bonus tracks. There's Borman the Chauffeur, Mommy, Madame Surat, a cover of Born to Be Wild, which was the B-side of, I believe, Career of Evil, and then the single version of Career of Evil. I got to be honest with you, I did not listen to those, and I don't recall what they sound like. These guys did some cool covers. I don't really love the Born to Be Wild cover. I could do without it. It's just
Exactly.
it's not a song I love anyways. But for me, clear number 1, this album fucking rules. It's just so good. Next up, we're not going to get into it deeply, but the first live album that they brought up, which is called On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Track listing real quick on this one is, let's see if I can read it. Subhuman, Harvester of Eyes, Hot Rails to Hell. It's a double album, by the way. The Red and the Black, 7 Screaming Disbusters, Bucks Boogie, Last Days of May, Cities on Flame, ME262, Born to Be Wild, Master, what's that say? I can't read that one. Before the Kiss of Red Cap, and I cannot. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to show this. Rick got me this. The Incredible Rick Dreadful Minutes got me the double LP. And let's see what the song is that I couldn't read. This is terrible. I can't fucking read anything. All right, here we go. I Ain't Got You, Mass. What the fuck is that? This is not one of their songs that I'm aware of. Maserati GT. I Ain't Got You. So they did write a song about cars. I don't know if that's theirs or what that is. I'd have to look that up. I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. And I don't recall.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't recall what it is off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Really solid live album for that era. But I'm not a super big live guy, so I don't really tend to revisit live albums a lot. But
I got that one too.
Yeah, again, in the box set, you're getting that. You're getting that with the box set if you grab that. Oh, cool, nice. Is that?
Yeah.
It's the double gatefold, right?
Yeah, it's a gatefold.
Nice. Look at that inside gatefold. Isn't that fucking wild?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool looking.
It's got the hands on the back.
Yeah, we're not going to rank the live albums. They are what they are. But
I like this record. I think it's a good. I think it's a great live record. The sound is great. Quality is great on this record. Tracks are good. I can't complain about the tracks on this record as far as what they do. But it sounds great. Like you said, I'm not a big fan of live records, but I think some of the songs sound better live sometimes. And on here, every song sounds great. So good record.
Cool. We'll get that. We'll talk about 3 other lives that we've got. The one that Eli has, and then I've got the 2 other ones in the box set here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on to album numero 4, and that's going to be called Agents of Fortune. And this is the album that kind of blows this band out of the water. This album comes out on 5/21/76, Recorded at the Record Plant in New York City. Again, Krugman, Perlman, Lucas producing. Columbia Records. Reaper, Ain't No Summer of Love were the two singles. This is their first platinum seller, peaking at number 12 on Billboard. And it's the only album to feature every single member doing a lead vocal track. As we talked about on the last album, Secret Treaties, that was the only Secret Treaties was the only album that Buck didn't sing on. He sings on this one, and man, does he sing on a killer fucking couple of tunes on here. How about Eli? What you got to say about Agents of Fortune?
I like this album a lot. It's definitely kind of one of the fan favorites, but it's not really one of my favorites. I like ETI is a great song. It's about about aliens, of course, so that always scores points with me. And it also it is said to since I have taken an interest in their lyrics and stuff. It's said that they took some stuff out of a psychology textbook and used some of that for ETI. Well, it's got Don't Fear the Reaper, so that right there bumps it up like 5 notches. Tattoo Vampire's pretty good. I like that one, written by Albert Bouchard. And I really like, even though it's a softer, kind of radio-friendly song, I really like Debbie Denise, the last song.
Great tune.
Yeah, that's a song that I would typically not think I'd gravitate towards, but I like, that's one of my favorite VOC songs, actually. So I have this ranked at where do I have it? Number 7. I guess that's not too bad, but I think most people put it a little higher than that. But for me right now, that's where it's at.
Okay. All right. Dennis, what you got on this album, man?
So this record, for some reason, I never bought. I don't know why. I mean, maybe because Don't Fear the Reaper was on it. I have no idea why I never had this record. I never owned it, but This Ain't the Summer of Love is a fucking banger. But hands down, the motherfucking jam on this shit is the fucking Revenge of Vera Gemini.
Ah, so good.
That song, man. That shit.
Patti Smith's on that.
This song fucking rules. I mean, that's my favorite song. I love that song. Tattoo Vampire has kind of a punk vibe to it. ETI is a good track. It's a weird track. Definitely. I mean, it's a great record. I don't think it's a bad record. For some reason, I never gravitated to this record. I like it. I just think
Same here.
Don't Fear is a great song, obviously, but yeah, just get it for Revenge of Vera, man. That song, that's BOC fucking classic right there.
Yeah, I mean, this album clearly, the record label and Perlman and the writing team and everything, they went all in on being commercial rock.
Yeah.
But it really isn't commercial rock. I mean, it is, but it isn't, because there's a lot of depth to these songs and quite a bit of variety. For example, you start out with, this ain't the summer of love. Yep. This ain't the Garden of Eden. Ain't no heaven above. It's such a killer track. And it goes into a 50s tune, True Confessions. True Confessions, which is super fucking cool. And then you got the mystical, magical, amazing Fear the Reaper. I love that song. I can't ever not get enough of it. It's one of my favorite songs ever written. ETI, you got that talk box, that wah, wah, it's so good, man.
It's cool.
Revenge of Vera Gemini. I agree with you, Dennis. It's a fucking killer track. That's probably the prog track on the album in a weird way. It's got a progginess to it, even though it's really not prog. And that's Albert Bouchard there. You've got Sinful Love. I dig that song, man. Yeah. It's like, what do I have written down here? Wistful love song. Nice guitar. Cool, really cool killer chorus. Tattoo Vampire starts to bring in the boogie a little bit, but it gets kind of twisted when it gets to the chorus, and it's a great tune. What else we have on here? Morning Final. Kind of a pretty ballad that's soulful. Tenderloin. That's a really cool song.
Tenderloin's a good song.
It's weird the way Eric sings it. It just draws you in. The lyrics are, it's a ballad, but it's kind of a vicious ballad. It's not like, oh, I love you, I love you. It's more like everything's fucked up, but I love you. That
I like I like that song because I like how the keyboards and the guitar play off each other on that.
Great song, Tenderloin.
Great song.
And Debbie Denise, I like the end of that. I like that song too, man. It's kind of poppy.
Yeah, I love it.
Patti Smith co-wrote that, and I love that song, man. It's almost again like another 50s rock song. That's super cool.
Yeah.
On the just to show you real quick on the bonus tracks on this one for the 2007 remaster are the Fire of Unknown Origin, which was written for the first album, by the way, guys, and didn't get released until 81.
Damn.
It's a very different original version. It's very different. Sally demo, Don't Fear the Reaper demo. The Reaper demo is really fucking cool. And a track that was unreleased called Dance the Night Away. I don't really remember that one. Again, I did not get to listen to the remasters. I was doing it online, so I didn't find those. But okay, so where you guys all ranked it, I'm going to rank it number 5. So I do rank it a little higher than Eli. And Dennis, I forgot what you said. Do you remember what you ranked it?
I have no idea, dude. That's probably like 6 or something.
You're going to have like 6 or 7s.
Right. I have my top 3 and that's it. Like everything else is
Yeah. That's cool. This was their largest selling album before Fire of Unknown Origin. But I feel it's really good, but there are better BOC albums, and my number 2 is coming up real soon. Are we ready to move on to this one?
Spectres.
Nope. Where'd I go with it? I put the back. Spectres came out. Hold on, let me get to my notes. Man, I wish I wasn't an old man and could remember shit better, but a lot to remember here.
Yeah.
Spectres came out November 1977. Same production team, the record plant, Columbia Records. There were three singles that came out on this. Going Through the Motions, Godzilla, and I Love the Night. It peaked at number 43 on Billboard, went gold. And how about Eli? You talk about Spectres a little bit there, my friend.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna hit comments after this album.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. Oh man, I love this album. This is
yes.
I like this album more and more every time I listen to it. I used to not really like the song Godzilla because it gets so much radio play, but it's really cool actually. If you just
killer song,
try to ignore all that, just listen to it for what it actually is, and it's awesome. That riff, I mean, it just fits. Yep. You picture Godzilla kind of slowly lumbering through, kind of a doomy riff. Death Valley Nights is awesome.
Oh.
There's actually not even one remotely bad song on this entire album. Celestial the Queen might be one of my least favorites, but it's still really good. But my favorite two are the last 2 tracks. I Love the Night and Nosferatu.
So good.
Both vampire songs.
Yeah.
So I Love the Night is about a man encountering a female vampire and being kind of like taken in with her. Like he knows what she wants, but he's okay with that. It's funny because it's one of those songs, like I like it. If you just were to listen to it and you might think it's just kind of like a really AOR ballady type song, but just the fact that it's about vampires, I think, amps it up for me. But Nosferatu is probably my top 5 BOC songs just ever. It's just, if you're going to write a song about Nosferatu, they just nailed it with the eeriness and the, that, those eerie riffs at the beginning. And they even used as lyrics, they used some of the songs from the from the book, I guess. They actually took direct lines from the book as lyrics to the song.
I think that was Melzer that did that one.
It looks like it was.
Or was it Perlman?
It was Bouchard. And who the hell is the Helen Wheels band?
Oh, that was I believe that was Eric Bloom's prior band, I believe.
Okay. Well, this song originally was one of their songs.
H Wheels. Yeah,
I didn't know that until just now, but I'm reading it on a website. It says, I didn't know that until literally just today.
It does appear that they started writing more of their own lyrics on this album.
Okay.
Because I only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 10 tracks. Wow, there's some co-writes. Ian Hunter from Mott the Hoople actually wrote "Going Through the Motions" with Eric Bloom.
Oh shit.
Perlman wrote "Are You Ready to Rock."
Oh, and
Meltzer.
Golden Age of Leather is another motorcycle song.
Oh yeah, Golden Age of Leather.
Yeah.
All right, so you had this ranked what?
Let's see, where did I know it's high. Okay, I have this ranked at number 3.
Nice.
And I mean, it probably deserves to be my number 1, but for now, it's number 3.
I want to address this comment before we get to you, Dennis, real quick. BOC being marketed as American Black Sabbath put me off of them for years. They're a totally different animal. 100% agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
What's up, Scott?
They're really nothing like Black Sabbath.
No.
There's a darkness, but it's a different kind of darkness. It's more of a mystical darkness, and it's not.
Yeah, they really don't sound anything like Sabbath.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, there's riffs here and there, definitely, that's like Sabbath. But they're not.
But they're not. I mean, for starters, they were playing in E or E flat, mostly E or E flat, and Tony was playing in C sharp or C, and that in and of itself made the sound very different. And obviously, Ozzy and Eric don't sound anything alike. So, but that's a good comment there, man. A couple other quickies here. I'm not ignoring you guys. The problem is I can only go back so far. So, yeah, Nick, one of the most creative rock bands out there, and it came down to songwriting. That's what we all three agreed on that earlier on. Dan, you're new here. I don't know if you're one of the subs for Eli or Dennis, but yeah, Cult of Stars Erectus, we're getting there, and that's gonna have I have a lot to say about that one.
Me too. Yeah.
What do we got here? Yeah, Tim saying Revolution of Night, Club Ninja. We're gonna talk about those. Duds may be kind of in my lexicon, but not in Dennis's. That's what make these great, because you can have some different opinions on some of these albums. What else we got here? On Your Knees or On Your Feet. What else? Age of Force is the only LP I know. We looked at that one. Great rock song, Dennis. I don't know which one you were talking about. Oh, you talk about Vera Gemini, I think. Yeah, a couple soft songs on Agent. Yeah, there are a couple of soft songs, but that's what I like about BOC, man. They can pull it off.
They can do
pull it off.
Yep.
Baseline on ETI, fantastic. Morning Final. I really love that song. Oh, Frederick had tenderloin for dinner. Well, thanks for sharing. Raise your
Perfect
can
choice.
of beer up high to the golden age of love. Yeah, man, Godzilla, fucking still. I love those riffs. It's one of the first songs I learned on guitar, and I love the riffs. Nosferatu is great. I love The Night. I love that song, man.
It's great.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got here? Mirrors is one of their strongest albums. Scott, you and Dennis are going to have something in common.
I'm not big on Mirrors.
I'm not a Mirrors fan. We're getting there.
I'm not either.
All right, so
Mirrors.
Dennis, talk about Spectres, my friend.
Spectres, man. Top 3 for me on Spectres.
Yeah.
I mean, Godzilla, Golden Age of Leather, just the beginning, like the fucking
so good.
yeah, like
a beer hall drinking song or something.
Like, We'll Die. They have a suicide pact, man.
Right.
In their motorcycle gang, and Death Valley Nights. Man, best song, one of the best songs, but probably my favorite. Second favorite on the record, Nosferatu, number 1. You listen to Ghost and then you listen to Nosferatu. It's
big time.
Same fucking song, dude.
Yeah.
I say Nosferatu to people. I'm like, hey, check out this Ghost song, and they're like, that's cool. It's a new one. Nah, it's fucking BOC, bitch. Like,
1977.
Yeah, they fucking ripped the fuck off of fucking BOC, dude.
Tobias must know every note on every fucking BOC album. He
does, dude. But the thing with him is he like admits it. He's like,
yeah.
it's POC, dude.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah.
He
That's
doesn't like.
cool.
He
I
doesn't
respect
try
that.
to like. I don't. It's not like fucking.
Like most people do.
Like, oh, I never heard of Venom. No, he's
Yeah.
like, it's a BOC, dude.
I'm not a fan.
Battery, like
I'm not a fan of
Battery,
that band at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, but every song on this record, man. Yeah, I love the night. Nosferatu, fucking Godzilla, Golden Age of Leather, Death Valley Night. There's not fireworks, man. Come on,
Fireworks is incredible.
that's a badass song.
And then you
The
got
only
even
song on here that kind of takes a little bit of a deterrent is "Are You Ready to Rock?"
Yeah,
It's
I agree, 100%.
It just it ruins the not. It doesn't. It's a good song. It doesn't meld with the record. I would say.
It sounds
kinda-
like they wrote it for radio play and
Right.
stadium
It like
play.
it takes a detour from the record.
Yep.
If that makes sense, it's like, oh, okay, wait, what's going on here? So you're listening to this record, and then all of a sudden, "Are You Ready to Rock?" pops up, and you're like, it's cool, but it's not. I mean, I like the song, but it deters from the flow of the record, if that makes sense.
I agree. You and I are 100% on that.
It's not a great song.
Just real quick, this is the last of the reissues that I got in 07 with the bonus tracks. So this one has
I have a couple of those too.
Night Flyer, Dial M for Murder, Please Hold, and Be My Baby. They're all unreleased tracks for these sessions. I can't lie, I don't remember any of them, and that's just because I probably haven't listened to this reissue in forever.
I don't remember them either.
Night Flyer seems like it's up here, but I'd have to hear the first couple of notes to remember. But for me, this album is number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2. I fucking love this album. I love every song on it, but Are You Ready to Rock? I don't hate Are You Ready to Rock? I just don't love it. It's kind of throwaway. It's like I said, it's a radio track that maybe they wrote it to kind of be, the next Reaper song. I don't know, but Godzilla, it's probably arguably BOC's heaviest track from this era.
Yeah.
But man, that solo by Buck on it is so fucking killer. Come on, man, you can't fucking. The lyrics are awesome. The chorus is so goddamn good. How can you not like this song? Oh no, there goes Tokyo. Go Godzilla. It's like, come on, man. It's fucking perfect. It's perfect. I love that song. Golden Age of Leather with the boys choir.
Yeah.
The Newark boys choir. The way that, raise your candle.
Yeah.
Purify. It's so good. But we're going to go with my number 1 favorite track on the album, Death Valley Nights. Holy shit.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Holy shit, is that fucking song so good.
It's a fucking badass.
I don't even know how to tell you how good that song is, except to say it's probably my second favorite BOC track ever. The chorus is just so damn good. The vocals are by Bouchard. It's just a fucking... it's so good. And then we get to one of the, I guess you'd call them the more AOR poppy tracks, Searching for Celine. I love it. I've been searching for Celine.
Searching.
So good. And you said, Dennis, Fireworks. Great guitar work on it.
Yep.
Killer 60 vibe. It's, I love this track. It's probably my 3rd or 4th favorite. Are You Ready to Rock? My least favorite song on the album. It's just too cookie cutter is what it is.
Yeah.
I still love this song, but it's kind of towards the bottom. Celestial the Queen. It's quirky. It kind of sounds a little 80s sounding, but it's 77, but it's a great song. Going Through the Motions. So good. It's a 50s doo-wop sort of song. And then you get to that mysterious ballad, I Love the Night, with Buck.
So good.
Yeah.
And Nosferatu. Fuck yeah, man. Killer ending track, dark, very proggy. What did I put here? Reaper Part. I wrote Reaper Part 2 because it kind of has a little bit of a Reaper vibe on it. But we should mention that Nosferatu has Joe Bouchard on vocals, and man, the chorus leading into this is so excellent. Great vocals. No, wait, that one's for. I'm sorry, that's for I Love the Night. Great chorus. I love this album. I love it quite a bit more than I love Agents of Fortune. So, like I said, this is number 2.
Yeah.
This is you said, Dennis, what album would I recommend you start with? I would recommend this as an album that any BOC start. Either this or Secret Treaties would be my 2.
Yeah.
Just because they're fucking awesome. That's just what I have to say about it. They're fucking awesome. And again, like Agents, this album is so varied in style that you're just always kind of captivated by the songs. They're that fucking good, you know. All right, so now we're up to one of Dennis's favorites here, and we're gonna show that.
One more thing. One more thing about Spectres.
Yeah,
I feel like this is especially Death Valley Nights '77. If you think about '77, there was a lot of UFO activity around Death Valley at the time, and I think this captures that mentality. That the songwriting in this song captures what was happening in '77 in Death Valley at the time
Zeitgeist
with the UFO sightings. And I think BOC has they have kind of this occult aura upon them, especially like if back in the day, if I drove like these dark streets, like up in the hills, you'd see BOC, you'd see the fucking symbol on street signs. That's how eclectic and occult the band was. And you probably wouldn't even know what that was, but you have to think about the symbol of the band as well.
You know what? We did not talk about that. I
We
missed
didn't.
that in my history thing.
I was wondering when to bring it in. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. You guys talk about it. I'm sorry.
So I think for me, the symbol is one of the most prominent things about the band.
And it's
It's
very
iconic
clever
as fuck.
too. It's really
iconic.
clever. Yeah.
And I can't remember the meaning. I did read about it, like what they did with it and
I think
how they
knows
came
it,
up with
right?
that. As far as like, I'm sure it has to do with space and whatnot. But
Well, it's an alchemical symbol
Yeah.
for what was it? Iron?
For iron, which is
Iron.
one of the heaviest metals. So that's
There you
why
go.
that's linking to them being like we're a heavy band and that's what we want to be. Yeah. It's
But-
also the symbol for Saturn.
yes,
Ah,
Saturn.
that's right.
That's the
That's
thing. It's
So
Saturn.
it's also a sci-fi
always-
thing too.
It always goes back to fucking astronomy, right? It
Yeah.
always goes back to space and aliens and extraterrestrials. And I always felt like that was the thing about that band. And people would take that symbol and they would paint it somewhere, and it can mean ET. It can mean a lot of people took it for occult, satanic meanings at the time.
But it's
So-
not.
It's not, but
Yeah.
people took it for that reason. So when you saw it when you were a kid, it kind of freaked you out.
Well, let's just put it this way.
It's esoteric, yeah.
It fucking looks badass.
It's
And
awesome.
you know what it reminded me of recently doing this thing is that I've been in the market to buy a BOC concert shirt, like probably the first album or
That'd be sick.
maybe an Agents of Fortune, whatever's out there. Usually you find the symbol in the first album. And I have not bought one, and there is something fucking wrong in the universe that I don't own a BOC shirt.
Yeah, I want one
That-
too.
That just don't make any sense. So to answer Dan's question real quick, no, Dan, they're not Rhino. I don't see Rhino on here anywhere. It says Legacy Columbia, the Columbia Legacy stuff. Now Rhino may own them now, but this is 2007 that they were remastered and reissued with all the bonus tracks. So that's the last one I have. If they did any more, I don't know. If they did like Mirrors and Cult of Stars, I just don't know. I've never looked for them because I have them in the box set that I already showed, but which we'll get to in a minute here. I forgot one thing though. Before we jump on to Mirrors, we need to talk about this album quickly, and that is One Enchanted Evening. That's their second live album. You have that one, Dennis?
Yeah,
Let's take a look at your vinyl.
got the vinyl.
Nice.
You have that in vinyl too.
I love that cover, man.
I got the cassette too on this one.
I love the cover. Is that gatefold or just single?
No, it's just a
That's
single.
Okay. Yeah, and this one didn't have the version I have. Interestingly, the version I have in the box set came as a gatefold cardboard slot. And I will say, you have this, Dennis. You said you have this, right?
What?
You said you have the box set with these.
No,
right?
I just ordered it. I don't have it.
Ordered. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be. I'm pretty impressed with the quality of these. Sometimes you get these and they're pretty fucking cheesy. These are pretty nice.
Yeah.
They're not as nice as, say, the Roxy Music box set of these, the CD box set, which was made in Holland and it was done through, I want to say Virgin or EMI. Those are fucking unbelievable. They're works of art. But these are close. They're not bad. They're solid. And what we have on here is Are You Ready to Rock, ETI, Astronomy, Kick Out the Jams, and MC5 cover.
Yeah.
Which I can get down with that because I love that song.
Godzilla. It suits
Godzilla,
them, yeah. They pull that off.
Don't Fear the Reaper, and a cover of, I believe, an Ian Hunter song, We Gotta Get Out of This Place. Wasn't that Ian Hunter? I think.
I'm not sure.
Hold on. I'm looking. We gotta get out of this place.
Oh, shit. I have a BOC shirt. Hold on. Let me grab it.
Grab it.
I really want one, too.
I'm looking up the, maybe someone in chat knows. I'm 99% sure this is a, fuck, I don't see any credits on it, though.
The credits I see, it says Barry Mann and Cynthia Well, but I'm not sure who those guys are.
But it was a cover that somebody else did. Somebody else did this and made it famous. I can't remember who. So, Dan, I hope that answers your question. I like mirrors or radio stuff, friendly. Yeah, we're getting there. That's the next one we're going to talk about, obviously. Spectre's great. Back from lunch. You missed everything. We're almost done. Just kidding. Yeah, classic year, dude. So many great albums out in 77, 78. Punk and Disco, yep. UFO, did BOC wear tinfoil hats?
All right, I found my shirt.
Oh, look at that thing.
Damn.
Oh, that's killer.
I'd wear that.
Where did you get that thing, man?
Look at the back.
Where did you get it?
So I got it at this guy was selling these, and they were like, so if you look at, there's like some like little black mark right here, and there were like misprints, and I think there's a black mark on the front of this shirt somewhere, and he was like, yeah, there were misprints that we couldn't sell, so selling them for $2 or something like that.
What? Oh my god!
Yeah. Oh my god!
Yeah,
dude,
on the far left, see that black mark?
Yeah.
There's like some ink that was mispressed.
Okay. That doesn't bother me at all.
I would
cool.
wear that. I would
love to wear that. The guy was like,
get that? When'd you get that?
Huh? Oh, I probably got this like fucking 15 years ago.
Now I'm wondering if that has to be a reprint though. I don't think that's an original, right?
No, it's an original.
Is it really?
Yeah.
From 81?
Yeah. The guy, look, dude, this is on like weird like knits press from way back.
Dennis, it's from this album, that live album that I was talking about. It's that tour.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's from that tour. Dude, that is fucking killer. I would absolutely buy that in a heartbeat if I could find one.
I mean, it's like a $200 shirt.
Yeah, Dan, you're right. I'm surprised Dean never did one either. He did so many others. Yes.
It could have worked.
Yeah, well, it absolutely would have worked, yeah. And like, dude, my favorite shirts are those baseball shirts. They rule. They're the best.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was actually from that concert, but there were misprints, so he couldn't sell them. I mean, this was like fucking 15, 20 years ago, and this guy had this giant like barrel. He worked at concerts, so he just had all these extra shirts that he couldn't sell.
Dude, you should have bought that whole tub.
Yeah, you could have sold.
I didn't have the money then. I was just a kid, so it's like I can't afford all these.
Yeah, man. If you had those now, you could probably sell them for $150 a piece or something.
Yeah, I think I looked it up the other day. It sold for like 200 and some bucks.
All right, we ready to hit this album?
Yeah.
All right, so we're on to Mirrors, and Mirrors came out June 19th, 1979, and there's a big switch here because it was recorded in L.A., at the Record Plant and CBS Studios in LA. It's the first one not produced by Sandy Pearlman and Krugman. It was produced by Tom Werman, and I think most people that know metal should know that, because I believe Tom Werman did like Twisted Sister, Motley Crue, bands like that, and they went for like the big name producer. Singles off this: Mirrors, In Thee, Moon Crazy, and You're Not the One I Was Looking For. The intent was to make a glossy, high charting album, but it barely went gold, which then led them to use another big name producer, which we'll talk about on the next album. So, Dennis, since you love this album, why don't we start with you?
What? I didn't say I love it. I just said it's a
you
good
did
record.
too. Don't lie.
I do love it.
I'm busting
I think I over exaggerated. I think the songwriting is really, really good on this record. I think it's an AM, or at the time AM FM record radio
right
record that they wrote. But I mean, first off, the song "The Vigil" on this record is
Killer.
Fucking amazing. That's a classic BOC track. It's a great track. I think Dr. Music's kind of a Kiss song. Mirrors kind of has a CCR feel to it. But I think that it has this like 70s or 80s sitcom like tone to it. Like if you hear some of those songs, you're like, this could be like the song for like fucking Bosom Buddies or something,
or Three's Company or something.
Yeah.
It's
like this weird vibe to it. But so at first, and I was gonna put this as the worst like BOC record, but more as I listened to it more, I'm like, this is really good songwriting. Like, it might not be the hardest BOC record, it might not be like the best, but the songwriting is super solid. You can't say the songs are bad. That's the thing. No. It's like the songs are really well written. I like the record. I mean, it is what it is. They wrote it for what they intended to do, and they succeeded, to me.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I was just breaking your stones about it being your favorite album, because when we first started talking about it, I was like, oh shit, he's not gonna like what I have to say about it. But I'm not. It's not my least favorite, but we'll get there in a minute. Eli, what you got on Mirrors, man?
I've only really ever listened to this album, I think, like twice, so it could grow on me more. At this moment, I don't love it. I do think it's okay. There's a lot of people that write this album off and call it terrible. It's definitely not terrible at all. It's not even remote. It's not even almost bad, but it's for me, it's not as memorable, as all the other stuff they've done up into it. The track 2, The Great Sun Jester, that was actually written partially by Michael Moorcock, the fantasy author.
Exactly.
Yeah, the same guy that did all the Hawkwind stuff.
He writes lyrics
cool.
for it. He writes lyrics, and he also writes lyrics on the next album.
Yeah. The Vigil. That's like Dennis said. That's actually a really cool song. It's written. The lyrics are about like people looking out for UFOs. The people that are always looking up in the sky trying to find weird UFO type stuff. So it's written about that. I guess Moon Crazy is a pretty cool song too. But yeah, having only listened to it like twice, maybe 3 times overall, right now I'm giving it a, I hate to put it this low, but I got it at number 13. It probably deserves a little better than that, I'll admit. Maybe in a couple years, if we come back to it, I might rank it, maybe a 10 or so. But for now, it's number 13.
I think listening to Mirrors over and over again, man, it's a catchy record. It's super catchy. I think it has really good songwriting. Is it BOC? Maybe not traditionally BOC. I don't consider that. I'm just speaking of it as a record, as songwriting. It's really good songwriting.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think the last song is kind of a disco song. I can't remember the name of it, but
that bass line, that disco bass line.
Yeah, that sounds like I can fucking jam out to that, man.
I
That's a
don't hate it though.
song. Yeah, it's a good song. It's
Yeah, I
disco,
was gonna say.
but I mean, you can't hate this record. That's a problem with it. It's like
No.
it's so well written. You can't not like it.
Yeah.
It's not like they like were like, fuck it, let's just do this record. They were like, let's do this like commercial fucking AM record, but let's fucking do it right. And they
True.
did it. And that's how I feel about this record. Every time I listen to it, it sounds better. And I think a lot of people write this off as like, it's their commercial record. And I mean, I'll get to that
Some people
later,
do, yeah.
but I don't think that this is their worst record for me.
All right, I fucking hate this record. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Let me throw a little bit out there. Again, they kind of intended to make a big, glossy, radio-friendly album with this,
Yep.
and I think they succeeded with that. And I agree with you, Dennis. There's good songwriting. It's concise. It's a little more streamlined than some of their other stuff. There are a couple great tracks, and there's some filler on here, man. And that's my problem with it. Dr. Music, man, I do not like that song. It's
I
got
don't
the
either.
fucking harmonica on it. It's got the female vocals. It was written for radio, man. It was written
Exactly.
for radio. The Great Sun Jester, I really dig that song. It's really AOR, but it's fucking cool. It's got a weird vibe to it with Eric makes that song kind of special. In Thee, I love In Thee. It's such
Right?
it's almost like America the band, like America. It's
That's
almost an
that's a sitcom song for me right there.
right. But it's so good though. It's so catchy, man.
Yep.
Mirrors, cool AOR track, earworm, very authentic late 70s sounding. Moon Crazy, I really like that. Again, very AOR, very hummable, great vocals by Joe Bouchard. Without question, the best song on the album, The Vigil.
Yep.
No doubt. It's their prog rock song.
Song's badass, man.
It's fucking killer. There's great. It's a Buck song, so it's not shocking that's great because I tend to love those most. There's some killer guitar work on it. And then the next song is probably my second favorite song, I Am the Storm.
Yep.
Another great, man, there's great guitar playing on this song. It's probably the hardest rock one on here. Again, great guitar playing. And if I didn't say it, I'm going to say it now. Buck Dharma, one of the most underrated guitar players on the planet. That guy,
Yep.
he writes amazing solos. I would say he's probably the second best hard rock AOR lead guitar player, only following Neil Schon, because I think Neil Schon's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
Lastly, You're Not the One I Was Looking For. That was, I believe, written to be a hit. I like it. I don't love it. It's okay. And Lonely Teardrops. Funky, not a bad song. Good guitar solo, but not. That's like my seventh favorite track on the album. This is not a terrible album, but one of my least favorite in their catalog. There's some solid songs on here, but also a good bit of filler. For me, it's too polished for me. And I get it. Maybe I need to listen to it a little bit more. It's probably one of the ones I least listen to.
Yeah.
Of the classic era. It's probably one of the ones I least listen to.
I think with Mirrors is the one you gotta like keep listening to because it's so different. Every song is so different. They try to they try to do radio songs, but they try to do like different not genres, but different like variations of like commercial songs. Like You're Not the One to me sounds like the Cars.
It does. Yeah,
it does, man. It's just they just try to do, but it sounds good. It's just, and like I wanted to not like this record. I'm like, God, this sucks. It's like total radio, and then I'm like, this is a good song though. Like they made these songs, they wrote them good. So I'm
gonna revisit this one and spend a little more time with it.
It's a great record. It's not it wouldn't be like a classic BOC record, but it's a really good record.
I mean, preparing for this, I listened to every album twice, except the last three, the newer ones.
Yeah.
And I didn't find I was drawn back to those, although one of them does score higher than this. Two of them don't. Or no, two of them score a little higher than this, and one doesn't. But this one I didn't get more than 2 listens in, and maybe I need to reinvest in that. That might.
So
be
I'm going Mirrors #1.
No, I'm not going.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Some
But
people
it's
probably have it there.
but
Probably.
it's probably not as bad as I think. And like Dan said, The Storm and the Vigil are the 2 standout
Yeah.
tracks on there.
That was a great song. Vigil, man. That's a classic BOC fucking jam.
Yeah, man. All right, so we're gonna move on. I think. Oh, wait a minute. We did mention Some Enchanted Evening, right? Yeah, we did. That's their
Yeah.
second live album. Came out September '78. Most of it recorded in Maryland at the Capitol Center, which I've been to for shows. Reissued in '07 as 7 additional tracks and 2 cover versions. I do not have that version. I just have the one in the box set.
Is Capitol Center where they film fucking heavy metal parking lot?
Yes.
Oh, shit, dude.
Been there, dude. Saw Rush there. I saw Queensryche there. Warrior Soul. Fuck. I know there's somebody else I saw there. I can't remember who it is. I'll remember it. But I did not see Priest there, and I was not in that parking lot. But I'm the same age as those people.
Yeah.
Like, they're my age, so that very easily could have been me in Philadelphia. What they would have saw is me running off and pissing in a corner somewhere and coming back and getting more beers and fucking chugging them. That's what they
Coming back and saying, fuck Turbo. That shit sucks.
Fuck yeah, man. Where's the chicks with the big tits? Bring them on. So, yeah, I was kind of one of those dudes, man. No doubt. All right, so we're on to this album.
Which one?
Which I love the
nice.
artwork for. I love the artwork. Fucking killer.
Hell yeah.
And the back is really trippy and cool. Dennis, you have this one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and rip off on this one? Go for it.
Cultosaurus.
Oh,
look at that.
Real quick, before you say anything. June 14th, 1980, released. And the great Martin Basher Birch, who produced fucking Maiden and who else? Sabbath, yeah. I mean, and he just died not too long ago. This was done in Kingdom Sound in New York City.
Back cover with the skull.
Yeah, it's killer.
So cool.
Singles from this: Fallen Angel, Deadline, Marshall Plan, and I think there's one here I'm missing. I can't read my own writing. Sorry. And this went gold. Yeah, Columbia Records. So go ahead, rip into it, man.
So this one, I think they brought it back. So I think they did Mirrors, and then they were like, yeah, man, that's not fucking BOC. And then they came back with this record, more of a hard rocker, more of their style. But it's a great record, man. So what are your thoughts on Divine Wind? What do you think that sounds like?
Let me look here, man.
So to me, that shit sounds.
I love it.
That's a fucking Danzig riff. Even the way he sings.
Here's what I have written for this. Love this tune. Weirdly reminds me of Presto era Rush.
It reminds me.
Danzig didn't come up, but
I could see fucking who's the guy that fucking plays guitar for Danzig? Fucking John Christ.
John Christ yeah.
Was the original
I could see him fucking. He totally fucking ripped the shit off, dude. Black Blade is a fucking ripper.
So good.
Yeah, Black Blade. And then you have Marshall Plan. That's a cool song. It's kind of kissy. Hungry Boys, kind of new wavy. That's a great record, man. Lips in the Hills.
Love it.
Yeah, great record. Unknown Tongue. Is that the name of the song?
Yep.
I love that. That's my favorite song on the record.
No shit.
Yeah, I think that could be on Unknown Origin, honestly.
Yeah.
It feels like a progression from their sound to this. It feels like a progression towards where they're going on the next record. Unknown, as far as Unknown Origin and Unknown Tongue. Right. Oh shit! See the connection there?
Ah, look at you, man. Woo! What are you drinking tonight, by the way?
We got a Stash Panda IPA.
All right, that shit's working magic. I can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it, dude. But I think this record, they brought all their They brought all the eclecticness of their first records back into this
Yep.
record, and
And it's heavier.
I mean, yeah, it's heavier, and you can tell by the cover. I mean, that thing reminds me of the thing that came out of fucking Empire Strikes Back out of the hole. What's that thing
Yeah.
called? Out of
Oh God, you're asking me to remember. That's so long ago.
remember, it came out of the fucking. The Millennium Falcon was in there, and then this
And it
thing.
tried to eat them.
But yeah, man.
It kind of looks a little bit like the creature from The Thing that erupts out of the guy's fucking. Not exactly, but sort of kind of like it. You know, that fucking creepy looking thing. So cool, man.
But I mean, this album, man. Yeah, it's so good.
Where are you putting that one at?
4.
Well, you can't because you have the first album at 4.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, wait a minute. I gotta ask. Did we get a number 1 out of you yet, Dennis?
No.
Okay, we're not there yet. Okay. Eli, what you got on? Oops, what happened? There we go. What you got on Cultosaurus erectus?
I love this album, actually. It's kind of a grower on me. For a lot of my favorite albums were growers. I think at my first 2 or 3 listens, maybe years back, I was like, this is just kind of an average BOC album. But after I've been listening to it more lately, it's so good. My favorite track, like I love Black Blade, Lips in the Hills. My favorite track, though, is Monsters.
Yeah, Monsters is a good track.
It's got like that. Yeah, it's got like those jazz sections. Like,
yeah, the jazz.
What are they?
Jazz breakdown in that, man.
Yeah, it's so cool. I have read that they took the name, or they not took it, but they were inspired to name it after a Charles Mingus album. So I guess that would make sense with that jazzy stuff. I wish they would actually do that more. The lyrics to Monsters are cool too. It's some more sci-fi stuff. It's about like an apocalyptic Earth, and a group of people manage to escape, but instead of the monsters being the people that destroyed the Earth, or I think they might have been like creatures or something, the real monsters are the humans, because after they escaped, they ended up like, turning on each other and stabbing each other in the back and stuff. So kind of cool, deep lyrics there. And Lips in the Hills, I think, is a really cool song. Unknown Tongue, yeah. Hungry Boys is kind of a punk sounding song, like old punk, and that's about drug addiction. And Divine Wind is pretty cool too. But this is an album I like it more and more as I listen to it. I like it so much I want to rate it higher, but I just can't. I can't quite put it above certain albums. So I have this as what do I have it at? I have this as number 6.
Fair enough. That's. I mean, I'm gonna have this one a little higher. The question Frederick asked was, who did the artwork? It's a guy named Richard Clifton Day. Don't know who he is or who he did for whatever. Beyond
damn
that.
good artist though.
I think one thing we have to right away mention is that the production is fucking immaculate on this album with Martin Birch. It's punchier, it's heavier, it's thicker, it just sounds really, really, really good. This is number 3. So my top 3 are Secret Treaties, Spectres, and Cultosaurus. And it starts out with a banging Black Blade again.
Yeah.
A collab between Eric and
Martin Moorcock, yeah.
Michael
Moorcock, yeah.
Right. And it's based on Michael Moorcock's series of books, Elric of Melnibone, which I read in my teens, late teens, early teens, college years. And I love those books. I would suggest anyone that wants to read really killer fucking sci-fi, Michael Moorcock does it. I think he just died. Am I wrong about that?
Really?
I think. Am I wrong?
So this is a year after Mirrors, and it's so fucking different, man. It's so like you write Mirrors like for the radio, and then this album comes out. Like anybody that liked Mirrors isn't gonna like this album. And who are you writing this record for? That's what BOC like means to me, man. Because they just write shit, and I
think they went back, like you said, to pulling all the best elements of the prior first 4 or 5 records and went, okay, let's get back to this. We tried that glossy production AOR thing that didn't really work. It didn't do what Columbia wanted it to do. This record did go gold, but it sadly, the reality was after Fortune Inspectors, until Fire of Unknown Origin, things were starting to go the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But for me, this album fucking kicks ass. I mean, Monsters, like you said, man, super killer. Love the riffs, catchy as hell. Divine Wind, love this tune. What's it say here? Christ, I can't read my reading. Reminds me of a Rush Presto song. Deadline, very 80s, sounds a bit dated, but hell yes, it rules. I love Deadline. Marshall Plan, anthemic, a great arena rocker. Hungry
Yep.
Boys, cheesy. That's the one shitty song on the album. I do
Yeah, I
not
don't
like
love it
Hungry
either.
Boys.
That's a new wave punk masterpiece.
Yeah, it does sound like new wave. You're right. Fallen Angel, again, sounds a little dated, 80s, but it's a good written song, and I like the vocals by Joe Bouchard.
Sounds like
Number
Paul
one-
Stanley on that one.
Yeah, you're right. He does sound like him. That's true. That's wild. I didn't even think of that. Number one song for me, Lips in the Hills.
Yeah.
Rocking, snarling, heavy, and cool as fuck. Buck just rules on this song. And Unknown Tongue, cool, strange. What's it say? Cool, strange, and but it's a good tune. You know, for me, this album is a bit front loaded in side A. It gets a little bit weaker in the second half, but like with Hungry Boys and Fallen Angel. But you know, it's a banger of an album, and that's why it's number 3. And I can listen to this album like I can listen to Spectres over and over and over and over, and I never get tired of it.
It's a banger, man.
Yeah, man. All right, so we're up to Fire of Unknown Origin. You got that one, Dennis?
Yeah.
Real quick, let me address a couple quick comments before we do that. Yeah, Birch did, Nick. You're right. He killed it on it. What else we got? More cock. Only for you, Nick. More cock. Martin Birch, BOC.
I never thought about that, by the way.
All right, Tim. Cool, man. I don't blame you. It's great. What else we got here? I think read back late 70s. Man, I swear Michael Moorcock's dead. Somebody has to look that up.
Yeah, he did. Moorcock did the fucking heavy metal, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so BOC Fire of Unknown Origin comes out June 22nd, 1981. Again, Martin Birch producing. Kingdom Sound and the Automat in San Francisco and Kingdom Sound in New York. Columbia Records, this had 2 singles, Burnin' For You, which was their number 1 huge hit, Joan Crawford, and the album peaked at number 24 on Billboard. Very important thing to note here, this is the last of the classic lineup. Albert Bouchard is fired from the band during the tour for this album. We'll get into that.
You sound like Wikipedia, dude.
It is. Wikipedia. All right,
Nah.
let her rip. Let her rip on this album.
Number 1 for me.
No way.
Yeah. Easily number 1 for me. This album, way more keyboards. This album fucking flows. Everything about this album to me is a fucking masterpiece. I don't know if this is a concept album, but it feels like one.
I never read that.
Heavy metal ruins the flow for me, but I mean, out of that, like, what are the songs on this fucking record? I mean, you don't even need to know the songs. Veterans of the Psychic Wars.
Oh yeah.
That was on the heavy metal soundtrack.
Heavy metal, yep, I was gonna mention that.
Soul Survivor. I can't, dude. This fucking album. I mean, Vengeance. Everything on this fucking record, it just flows. It's a fucking masterpiece.
I think Nick's gonna agree with you. Nick's gonna agree with me. Well,
I think he should, because this fucking album fucking rules. Definitely my favorite fucking BOC record. I think this is they took everything they had as far from the beginning to their radio stuff and occultists, and they put it into everything into this record, and they made this record. I don't know. I don't really think this was a super successful record, but
Oh no, it was.
Huh?
Yeah, it was. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, for
I
me,
got-
this record, I mean, no song on this is bad. This is a record you can just play through whenever you want. Like, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, I'm gonna put on fucking this record, and I'm gonna love it.
Nice.
Like this, there's nothing bad about this record ever. Like anybody says anything about this record, I'll fuck you up.
So, a couple of anecdotal things quick till we go over to Eli. Like I said, this was the last of the classic lineup because Albert is fired during the tour because he started showing up late for shows. He had a new girlfriend, was going through a divorce. All the other guys were married. He wanted to bring his girlfriend on the road. The other guys were kind of like, I don't think so. So they got rid of him. And I do think that affects the band going forward a lot. Many of these songs were intended for the heavy metal soundtrack. Vengeance the Pact was written for that album. It was not used. They only used Veterans of the Psychic Wars.
Which is a weird choice.
It is.
Also, the song Fire of Unknown Origin, which I talked about earlier, was actually written for Agents of Fortune, which they had the demo on there, but not used. It's in the Rarities box set. What else do I have here? Notes on it. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll get into my thoughts after Dennis goes into his. Or I'm sorry, Eli does his.
Cool. Yeah, this is my number one as well.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
You guys both have
Yeah.
the same one.
Yeah. This album is just like Dennis said. You can put it on anytime. Every single song is awesome. It's as a whole, it's awesome. Veteran of the Psychic Wars is my favorite BOC song, hands down. Actually,
Back, man.
it just I don't think there's any song by anybody that sounds remotely like it.
Nope.
It's such a weird, dark, atmospheric song. And it was also partially written by Michael Moorcock again.
Yeah.
Right.
The title track, Fire of Unknown Origin, is just a blast. Vengeance the Pact is awesome. That I didn't know that was for the heavy metal soundtrack, but that would fit.
Yep.
Joan Crawford is a cool song. Risen from the grave.
I love
that song's so badass, dude.
I love this comment by Frederick. This is Dennis's first number one.
Yeah.
I might have another one.
Okay, so Nick, this was his first album he ever got. And yeah, there were, like you said, Tim, there are a couple of songs on there. I forget the other two that were written, but it was definitely Vengeance and then Veterans. They used them somewhere else in a different. I believe they used those tracks on Teachers or Kids or something. I forget the name of that, and I didn't really make a note of that. I was in high school when this came out. This was 81, so I was a sophomore. And man, like Reaper, you could not get away from Burning for You. And here's the deal on that song. I can listen to it over and over and over again. It's a fucking killer song.
It is a good song.
Kevin has it at number 2. Chris, I think it fits in well with the scene. It was, yep. Yeah, man. I mean, it's a killer album. I don't have as high as you guys, though, but I'll tell you why in a minute.
I love all the keyboards too. I love how it's so keyboard heavy.
It's keyboard driven. I get that. I mean, I feel like this is probably their first record that's fully keyboard driven.
It is. Yeah.
But
every song.
That's what adds to the atmosphere of the record. I feel the keyboards, everything to it is like this atmosphere of the record. Like this is what you're gonna hear, and it's so different from everything else to me that they've ever released. Everything building up from Cultosaurus to this record is what BOC is at this point. Yeah. So that's what makes it for me.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so Fire of Unknown Origin, like we said, that was an earlier track that then Agents of Fortune. It's similar but not the same if you listen to the demo. It's progressed quite a bit, a lot more keyboards. That's a cool brooding song, moody, good opener. Burning for You, killer, never tire of it. Veterans of the Psychic War, man. I fucking love that song.
Fucking every song on this is amazing.
Soul Survivor, 80s synths, cool offbeat, killer chorus to that song. Heavy metal, Black and Silver, great rocking metal song. It's pretty heavy. Vengeance the Pact is fucking, another great earworm. After Dark, the only problem I have with this album a little bit is the synths do date it a slight bit. The synthesizer stuff that he was using, it says it's an 80s album, but
Exactly.
it still sounds great. And we're from the 80s, you and I, Dennis. So
Yeah.
we it's hard nostalgically, it's hard to separate from that for me, So After Dark, cool guitars by Buck. Great track. What do I got here? Joan Crawford, man. Come on. Joan Crawford has risen
Fucking,
from the
that
grave.
song's so badass, dude.
So killer. The lyrics are fucking hysterically off kilter and weird. And I gotta say, man, a lot of people don't like this track. I love Don't Turn Your Back. I love that song. It reminds me of 80s Rush. It's got that cool, groovy Alex Lifeson-y sound of the guitar. It just sounds so fucking cool. Very catchy chorus. Don't turn your back. Again, so Rush-like, super cool. This album for me is number 5. No, number 6.
Are you serious, dude? 6?
It is, man. Number 6. Yeah. Well, think about it. I got Secret Treaties 1. I got Spectres 2. I got Cultosaurus 3. I got one coming up that's 4. And you know what it's going to be. 5
so you're saying Cultosaurus is better than this record?
Yeah, I do like it better than this one.
All right.
And 5, I can tell you this much. I could flip-flop this and Agents any day. So it could be 5. But, we're going to talk a lot about my number 4. That's coming up in one more album.
All right.
And that one, honestly, could almost be number 2 or 3. So I love this album, though. Don't get me wrong. It's fucking, if you're getting into BOC and you don't own this album, there's something wrong with you. You got to own it.
You already got a Jeff, what the fuck down there.
Ah, that's my first what the fuck. What happened, man? All right, so before we move on to the Revolution by Night, do you have this one, Dennis? You have this live one, ETI?
Yeah.
Okay. This one came out right after
it's another gatefold.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mine's gatefold too. I wonder if it has let's see if it has the same picture.
That's so cool. Yeah,
I love that. I love that artwork on that. Killer. Yeah. This one has Cities on Flame, Hot Rails to Hell, The Red and the Black, Dominance and Submission, Don't Fear the Reaper, ETI, Godzilla, Dr. Music, Black Blade, Joan Crawford, Burning for You. After this, Veterans of the Psychic War and Roadhouse Blues. They do a Doors cover. They always put a lot of covers on their live.
It can do without the cover, but the rest of the album, like the live songs on this, are fucking amazing.
Great. Oh yeah, they're killer.
Can do without the cover, but everything else is fucking spot on, man. Great fucking live record.
Do you have Revolution by Night?
Yeah.
Okay, show it.
All right.
And I'll rip in real quick on this one. Came out November 8th, 1983. Was recorded at Boogie Hotel in New York City, Kingdom in New York City, and Automat in San Francisco.
Look at that art, man.
This one is produced by Bruce Fairburn, who did Bon Jovi, AC/DC, Van Halen, Aerosmith. Singles: Take Me Away, Shooting Shark, Failed to Go Gold. How about that shit? We should mention that this is the first album without Albert Bouchard on drums. And they used their drum tech, who was Albert Bouchard's drum tech, Rick Downey on drums. We should mention Aldo Nova plays on this.
Yep.
Co-writes one song, Take Me Away, plays synthesizer and guitars. Also Larry Fast, who's, if you know prog, Larry Fast is a big prog dude. He plays synths on it. He was in Synergy, Hall & Oates, Peter Gabriel, and Foreigner he's done work with. So go ahead, Dennis. Tell me about it.
And Randy Jackson played bass on Shooting Star.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, shit,
That's crazy.
I didn't see that one. That is weird. He
the country guy?
No, the black dude from fucking...
Okay.
what's that shit called? American.
Yeah, American Idol.
American Idol, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, he also was in Journey on Raised on Radio. He played on that
Yeah.
album.
I didn't
Yeah, he
know
Alright,
that.
go ahead.
on that song.
Give us your
So
thoughts on
this,
this one.
so for this album, not a big fan of this record. As far as the Take Me Away, one of my favorite fucking songs ever by
Oh,
BOC.
so good.
Yeah.
Take Me Away, but then the rest of the record, it's super 80s like theme songy, if that makes sense. Sounds like 80s theme songs, like Eyes of Fire. It's like Eyes of Fire. It's like it could be in Karate Kid or something. Let's Go. Dragon Lady's a good song. Light Years of Love, kind of boring. Overall has like a 80s like action movie sound to it.
Yeah, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Like it would be a theme song for like fucking Miami Vice or something like that.
Thank you. That's what I have on Veins. It sounds like Miami Vice.
Yep.
I was like, what is it? But yeah, it's a good record. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like it's not good. I'm just saying it's not a BOC record for me. It sounds like and I can put this on like, oh, I want to hear like an 80s. I want to hear like something that sounds like an 80s theme song. I'll put on this record. Except for Take Me Away, which is a fucking banger of a fucking song. Banger.
That riff, down, down, down.
Yeah,
down,
I can
down,
listen
down,
to that.
down, down.
That song is fucking one of BOC's best songs ever written.
And you know what? You definitely can hear Aldo Nova's influence in it.
Yep.
You and I were talking about Aldo Nova before when we jumped on early, and those first two Aldo Nova albums are fucking indispensable for me. I don't care.
Yeah,
what
and
anybody says.
he fucking rips on that guitar on that song.
Yep.
So yeah,
Where do you put this one? Somewhere in the middle to low tier,
or where am I at? I'll give it like where am I? I don't know.
Who fucking knows? I lost.
After 3, it ranks in there.
I think nothing's been below 6, but now I think this one's below 6, right?
I already had number 1. I don't have a number 2 yet, and number 3 is fucking Spectres.
All right, cool. Eli, what you got on? Oh, real quick. Hey, Larry, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Dan, you and I got to talk, man. Flock of Seagulls. I fucking love virtually every one of their albums. I don't care what you say. I fucking love this Flock of Seagulls. Great animated flick. Nick has unsubbed from me because I put Fire of Unknown Origin at 6. So has Kevin apparently.
Paying the price.
What else we got here? Only couple good songs. Revolution by Night, Take Me Away, Field of Thunder, Shadow. Yep. What else we got?
Yeah, Shadow of California is a banger, dude.
That's a killer song.
Yeah, that song is a really good song. Sorry, I forgot to mention that song. That song's a banger. So
it is.
Yeah, we got what else we got here? Yeah, I'm going to talk about the bad songs on here that Dennis didn't. Yes, this record could hear. Yeah, you're right, Devin. You're right, and I don't have a lot of good things to say about that album or this album, but we'll get there in a minute. Hey, look who jumped back in, Mr. Dreadful Rick. Dreadful, I mentioned your awesome Godzilla versus the Reaper thumbnail as usual. Yep, I knew that. How the hell do you fire? Okay, anyways. So, Eli, what you got on Revolution by Night?
I like this album quite a bit. It is the first time, well, yeah, it's their first album that's like really 80s sounding and maybe kind of dated if you were to listen to it now for the first time. The drums, it's got that 80s drum sound, but since I grew up listening to 80s music, I feel comfortable with it. It kind of sounds like a hard rock band trying to sound like Blue Oyster Cult, like a new band from 1981 or something.
Right.
Like you guys said, that track, that first track is so fucking cool. Yeah, it's just so well written. Awesome. The chorus, one of their better choruses, really. I mean, if you want to look at it that way,
can't get it out of your head once you hear it.
You can definitely tell that there are some new musicians playing on this that aren't BOC guys, but it's not a bad thing because they're all really good musicians. Shadow of California is a freaking great song.
Joe Bouchard. Joe Bouchard is still with him, so it's still 4/5
Oh,
of
yeah.
the band. But one thing to mention about this is very important. Rick Downey drumming on it. The thing about that is though they started using the Lynn drum, that electronic drum kit.
Yeah.
It shows.
Remember Neil Peart used it on Grace Under Pressure.
It shows.
It definitely
Yeah,
shows on this album.
definitely.
Unlike say Grace Under Pressure, which you can tell he's using the Lynn drum, but it's fucking Neil Peart, and I don't care what he can do whatever the fuck he wants, man.
He'll play the shit out of that electronic
And not
kit.
only that, that's a
Yeah.
cold, dark record that is very alien sounding, and it fits. It doesn't fit on here. It just sounds synthetic.
True. Yeah, I don't really like track 7, "Let Go." That's probably the song I hate the most on this.
Terrible.
It's annoying. Yeah, it's like Dragon Lady's pretty cool. Cool title and a cool song. But yeah, so I like it more than I ever expected. And it's kind of funny, like I was telling you, Jeff, I'd never even heard of this album until like a year or two ago. I didn't even know it existed. I mean, nobody talks about it, and I can understand why.
When I first saw them open for Rush in '86, they opened with "Take Me Away," and I was like, "Whoa,
that's
a badass tune, man. That's a killer track." Yeah.
I have this at what do I have it at? Number 9. I have it at 9.
That's exactly where I have it, number 9.
Cool.
Let me hit some quickies on here. Great opening riff, "Take Me Away." Fucking great pop infused rock track, Aldo co-write. Love this song. It's so cool. "Eyes on Fire," piano-led ballad rocker. Love the chorus on that song. I actually like "Eyes on Fire." "Shooting Shark," 80s sounding, but fairly cool. It could be on like Miami Vice, which was, "Veins." What's that say? Some good Buck Dharma vocals, and the guitar is cool, but I don't really love the song. "Shadow of California" is my number 2 song on it. Reminds me a little bit of "Last Days of May." It's kind of in that vibe, and it's a cool track. "Feel the Thunder," very 80s, but I dig it. "Let Go," ball suck. Suck my balls. That song is terrible.
Which one?
"Let Go." Oh my god.
Yeah, that song sucks,
terrible.
dude. The chorus is so annoying on that song.
It's fucking terrible. "Dragon Lady," kind of 80s rocker by numbers. I'm not as big on that as you guys. And then the last song, "Light Years of Love," has some nice melodic moments, a nice ballad that's kind of wistful and interesting and has a bit of an earworm. So about half these tracks I like, and half I think are not very good at all. The only thing to say about this, yes, this album sounds dated. Of course, it's got all the hallmarks of the 80s AOR hard rock, but some of the songs are okay. They're fairly solid to very good. This album gets ripped harshly, but it's not nearly as good as Fire. I'm talking about the 80s albums here, right?
Yeah.
Or Cultosaurus, or even Close. At times it sounds dated. It's this one and the next one really do sound dated to me. I give this number 9. That's where I'm at. And I honestly, the reason I think I can't love this album more, even though I like some of the songs, is I just think the Bruce Fairbairn production is so radio pop friendly kind of. I just don't like it. You can tell they moved away from Birch, who I think did 2 great albums with him.
Yeah, but I think that was the point of this record, is to make it sound like that. So
right.
I think the production is what it is. I just don't think the songs are that great, in my opinion. I mean, besides obviously the first song.
A handful of tracks, yeah.
But it's a good record. I mean, I'm not gonna. If someone puts, I mean, it's all relative, right? It's all BOC. So you're gonna throw this on. No one's. I mean, if someone throws on BOC, I'm not gonna be like, turn this off. This album sucks. I'm gonna be like,
right.
Shit's cool.
Rick makes a point here. 80s movie theme songs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
he brings up Survivor. I don't think they quite jump into Survivor until maybe the next album. But there's not. But even then, they don't do it entirely. They're not Eye of the Tiger, you know.
Well, and I think the next album's a step up from this album. I mean, in my opinion.
You're not gonna like me then, man. We already talked about it though.
Club Ninja number 2. No, just kidding.
Do you have this one, dude?
No, I don't have it.
Okay. Here, let me show. I'll show you my copy here. Really bizarre artwork.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of.
love that artwork.
I like it too. A lot of people shit on it. I think it's kind of interestingly weird. It's very 80s. I like
Yeah.
what they did with the logo, with all the the twists and jaggedy edges and whatnot. And the back's kind of cool.
Oh, that's sick.
I like what they did with the symbol. Kind of
So
funky looking,
at the back album cover,
right?
that looks like a ninja star, and that's what I always thought the front album cover was.
Right.
I was like, I always thought that was a ninja star because of Club Ninja. And then looking at it later, I'm like, oh, that's their like actual symbol for
it's the
Blue Oyster
symbol.
Cult.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
they did
always
two
thought it was a
different
ninja
versions of
star for some reason. I
Yeah,
guess,
that's cool.
but then on the back it is a ninja star, so that's fucking that makes me feel a little bit better.
So this one has Eric Bloom, Joe Bouchard, Buck Dharma, Jimmy Wilcox on background vocals and percussion, Tommy Zavancek on synthesizers and piano, Tommy Price on drums, Phil Grand on additional guitars, and Kenny Harrison. You know who that is, right? The drummer. Additional. Oh no, I'm sorry. Kenny Harrison's the bass player from HSAS. You know HSAS?
Yeah,
Hagar, Sean, Aronson, and Shreve,
yeah.
which is one of the most badass albums ever. If you
Dude,
don't
I've
know
never,
HSAS,
I've never heard that record. I remember
Dennis,
because it has that fucking logo on the front.
Dennis, you gotta get that fucking album. It's
All
so
right.
goddamn epic, dude. Oh, it's fucking. Some of Neil Sean's best guitar work is on that
Really?
album, man. Oh, it's fucking Giza, the Valley of the Kings, and fucking Animation and Coming Home. Oh my god, that fucking rips. I love that album. One of my
I gotta grab that.
HSAS.
HSAS. That's
Okay.
Hagar. I'm not a big Hagar guy, but on this album, he's fucking amazing. Hagar, Sean, Kenny Aronson on bass, and Michael Shreve from Santana on drums.
Nice.
He's amazing.
Okay.
Dennis, trust me on this one. Get
All
it.
right.
You will. You'll thank me. You will thank me.
All right.
All right. So this album, they bring in a fair amount of outside writers. Dennis, you kind of like this album, so why don't you rip into it? Because I'm not gonna have a lot of good things.
I like this album. I really like the opening track, White Flags. Dancing in the Ruins is a banger, man. That's a great song. And then it kind of, for me, kind of gets kind of weak as far as like Make Rock Not War. I feel it's almost like a Europe song.
Yeah.
And it's kind of glammy. Perfect Water. It's all right. Floydish. Beat 'em up's all right. Kind of generic. Twisted Sister kind of rocker, I guess.
Yeah, it does sound like Twisted Sister.
But then you get into fucking When the War Comes Home, man. That's a great fucking BOC song. And Shadow Warrior. Those two, man, those last two songs and Madness to the Method at the end, those three songs are worth it for the record for me. And Dancing in the Ruins. Those four songs, great songs. The other ones are kind of, I mean, White Flags is a great song. It's a good song. It's not great. A lot of keyboards. But I think this is, I feel it's heavier, definitely, than Revolution. I feel like they kind of went back to their more songwriting, more weirdness, especially with the last three songs. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great record, better than Revolution for me, for sure.
So number two for you. Number two?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Number nine?
Yeah, number 9. We'll go 9.
Something to mention on this one. This was deemed a large commercial failure. I did not tell you it came out December 10th, 1985. This is the album that I first saw them on. I'd have been about 21, 22. I think 86 I'd have been 20. It was recorded in Boogie Studio Warehouse, Bearsville, New York City. I did not write who the fuck produced it. Who produced it? Wow, it doesn't. Sandy Pearlman did this one. I'm kind of surprised by that, actually.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because he did such a great job on all the other albums. The album sounds okay. Eli, what you got on this one, man?
I think I liked this album actually more the first time I heard it, and I was listening to it today, and I have it at number 14, so I have it at the very bottom.
So do I.
It's kind of like their hair metal album, like it's which I used to like a lot of that stuff when I was a kid, but it hasn't aged well with me. Most of that, most bands that play that sound. But White Flags is cool, and Dancing in the Ruins is cool. Shadow Warrior is really cool. Those last 2 tracks are really cool.
Yeah.
Some of the middle stuff is just kind of like, I don't know if like the label was pushing them like, hey, you guys need to sound like an 80s band.
Well, the middle tracks are the ones that were written by other outside writers, Bob Halligan, who actually,
that
Dennis,
makes sense.
I may not be wrong. I might be wrong on this, but you mentioned Twisted Sister. I have a strong suspicion that Bob Halligan Jr. helped write some Twisted Sister songs back in the day. I could be wrong, but I think I'm not. And
I'm telling you, dude, Beat 'em Up sounds like a Twisted Sister song.
It sure does. I agree. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
What else, Eli? Sorry.
This is kind of like, that's all. It's like for me, it's kind of like their Turbo.
Very good comparison.
And I'm not a fan of Turbo. I don't hate
Neither
it,
am
but
I.
I don't hate it, but I don't really like it either. I don't know. It's listenable, I guess, but yeah, that's it definitely sounds dated. It's one of the few BOC albums that I think sound dated.
Big time for sure.
Yeah.
So this is number 14 for me too. Outside Writers, those songs suck. I remember when I bought this album, I fucking hated it. I was like, what the fuck? This thing's a pile of trash. When I got to see them live for this, I softened a little bit on it. I still think it's their least good album. It's super AOR. It's kind of rock by numbers on a lot of these tracks, which I do not like at all. To me, it's massively overproduced. The keyboards are almost too overpowering in some of the songs. And some of the songs are just weak to me. That's just to me. But there are some there's one killer track on here. That's Dancing in the Ruins, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. That song fucking badass.
Kills. But it's very poppy, but it's so listenable. It's so
really, really well written. That song is really well written.
And here's something I'll throw at you. This to me is Burning for You, the follow-up.
Yep.
It just has that vibe to it. White Flags, good radio rock song, solid. Yep. Make Rock Not War. Sucks. That's
I hate that song. It is terrible.
Okay. My number one favorite song on this album, though, bar none, even over Dancing in the Ruin. Perfect Water is fucking amazing.
It's a good song.
The guitar playing on here is fucking amazing. Buck's vocals on it are amazing. It's just so damn good. The lead out solo blows me away, man.
Dude, that song is so fucking. That song's super proggy.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Yes and Floyd influences on that. I hear, anyways. Super that song, man. That's a badass fucking song. It's a really great song. And that and fucking When the War Comes Home and Shadow Warriors, for me, man, that makes a record for me.
Yeah, the next one, Spy in the House of Love, Beat 'em Up, sucks. Again, hate those songs. Hate them. When the War Comes, pretty cool, darker track. I like it. I like it. I don't love it. Shadow Warriors, that's a kind of a mad track, but Madness to the Method, probably the second best song on the album. Oh, well, the third best after Dancing. I love the progginess of it. I love the backing vocals. I love the end, how it fades out. We need madness to the method. We want. The call and response vocals are great. Again, this album was a huge disappointment. They only sold about 175,000 copies. It didn't even go close to gold. Yeah. 14 for me. Sorry, Dennis. I get where you're coming from, but I'm not feeling some of the stuff you were feeling for.
No, I mean, you said everything I thought was good about the record. I mean, And I think Shadow Warriors, their doom metal song for me, it has total doom metal riffs
Yeah,
in
it
it.
definitely has a doom vibe to it. I just
Yeah.
don't. It doesn't pull me in like I wanted it to. I guess.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Same here. Same here.
We
yeah.
are approaching, kind of getting near the end, right? What do we have?
Yeah.
4 more to go.
Couple more,
Yeah.
three or four.
Four, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, and we're doing good on time. I thought this might be a 5-hour episode, but I think we're doing pretty good. Real
Let's
quick,
go back to Revolution. No, just kidding.
yeah. Let me hit a couple of quick comments. Kevin agrees with me. Dude, both of you get HSAS. It fucking rules. All right.
I want to hear it now.
My only
Yeah.
problem with it is it's too short. What else we got? Club Ninja
Small
is the
complaint.
big dud. I agree, Tim. Club Ninja is the dud. Yes, it's Kevin. Kevin got it. It's BOC's Cold Lake. You're right.
Right, which a lot of people think is a good record now.
Which I don't hate Cold Lake. I'm one of those weirdos that doesn't hate it.
I do.
Love it, but
That
I
album
don't love
sucks
it.
dick.
Yeah, there you go. Turbo rocks. Turbo rocks. Man,
Turbo sucks dick too.
Man, Turbo's
Yeah.
near the bottom of the barrel.
I don't ever
for me.
need to listen to Turbo again ever.
Although Turbo has one massively kick-ass song
But-
out in the cold. That song rules. And
I
when
don't mind.
saw
I don't mind
Priest
Turbo Lover.
And I like that song. Yeah, I mean that you almost can't not like that song when you're
That's my
live. It's
video because it has super stupid animation in it.
I'm your Turbo
It has like those weird
lover.
fucking bird creatures. I was like,
But you know what? It is a fun live song. When they do it live, you almost can't not get into it.
In their red leather outfits and stuff.
And when I saw them on that tour, that was the first time I saw Priest for that #86, and they opened with Out in the Cold, and all the smoke was coming out. And Rob came out from under the stage, and
That's
then
cool.
for Hellbent for Leather, he came out on the Harley. So good. My hearing's never been the same since that show.
For me personally, and this is off subject, I think Turbo and Cold Lake are like records where people are reaching, where they're like, no, man, that's a cool record. No, I like
yeah. No,
It's
you're
like,
right. You're
Produce
absolutely right.
records suck. Stop trying to make it good. Those records suck ass.
There are people that want to be so unique that they choose things that are bad and be like, I like these. You guys just don't see it. You know?
Yeah,
No,
like,
we all hate it.
So
no,
I
it's not. This record sucks, dude. Into the Pandemonium sucks. Like,
oh no.
That one's hit and miss for me. Really hit and
I
miss
like
for me.
Into the
oh my
Pandemonium.
god, that's
It's
Tom
so-
Warrior trying to fucking make a name for himself. That
Well,
fucking sucks, dude.
It's their goth album, man. It's
It is a
Exactly.
goth album, yeah.
I
Goth
like
rock.
it, but I'm a goth guy. I like goth.
It's
So-
a goth
All right.
album. It's a forced goth album.
Do you have this one, Dennis, or not?
I wish.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit of a rare album. Yeah, this one's a
My
little
number-
hard to find.
It's hard to find.
Yeah, probably long out of print.
No, I think somebody repressed it. Maybe somebody
they?
will tell me in the comments. I'm pretty sure it was repressed, but I think it was a limited edition, like 3,000 or something. And
Oh,
and
okay.
I didn't look this up on Discogs, but it's hard to find. Okay, so Imaginos, BOC's last album with Columbia, 1988. It comes out July of '88. It's produced by it's Kingdom Sound and Boogie Hotel in New York and Alpha Omega in San Francisco. Let's see, where are we at here? Produced by Perlman and Albert Bouchard. And we should talk about the fact that this album, technically speaking, is really not a BOC album.
Right.
It's a BOC album in name, but what it is an album based on a series of poems that Sandy Perlman wrote in the 60s and 70s based on Soft Doctrine of Imaginos. And it's basically, there is a lot of history to this, a whole mythology with it. I'm not going to get into it because we'll be here all night. But
It's like a fucking Lovecraft fucking
it's Lovecraft.
parallel world fucking
Which, by the way, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm wearing my
Oh shit!
nice.
Lovecraft shirt.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
And by the way, that shirt is courtesy of Holy Mountain, which makes a lot of cool ass stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Lot
Holy
of
Mountain
stuff.
rules.
Yeah. So it's based on Soft Doctrine of Imaginos. Basically, the tale is following a character, human alien hybrid called Imaginos, that is also a shapeshifter that can be a woman and then it's called Desdenova. And
Jeff, is
how
this
they,
a concept album or is it just
oh hell yeah,
loose
Yeah, it's a
concept?
no, it's
concept.
concept,
Okay.
yeah,
It's a
but it's
definite
but
concept.
it's a convoluted concept album. What you need to know about this is that Imaginos comes to Earth. He's being watched by the Blue Oyster Cult, who are kind of manipulating things. And what the album is Imaginos / Desdenova's effect on history, going back to, I believe, the 1500s, the Magna Carta. When was that? Or was that 10 BC? Whenever the Magna Carta was.
Yeah.
And how Imaginos affects history throughout the years. So it talks about really large historical things like, you know, the discovery of America and all the things. I'm not going to get into it because I don't know enough about it. Again, Martin Popoff wrote a book about it. If you really want to
Yeah.
get into it, go check that out.
It's super like detailed
Super
and
deep, super deep.
so supposed to be like 3 records. This album was supposed to
That's
be.
right. It was supposed to be
What
a
a bummer.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Columbia said, "No way, we're putting a trilogy out. Sorry, it's
Dude,
not
they
gonna
should
happen."
finish that trilogy. They should do it now.
Well, they're doing it.
Oh,
Albert's
okay.
done the
Yeah, they're
Albert's
doing it
done
right
the
now.
second part. Albert's
Oh, okay.
doing it. Not Sandy though. Sandy's dead.
Okay.
We're going to
True.
talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
I'll get into it one sec. So originally a Perlman Albert Boucher solo album, took over 8 years to complete. The origins go all the way back to 1972. Again,
Yeah.
remember, Albert Bouchard was fired in 1981, so he technically wasn't in BOC anymore. The album was rejected in CBS in 1984 after recordings from 82 to 84 were not sufficient. Eventually, a reworked version was issued by the band. And basically what happened was Columbia said, this has to be a BOC album because it's not going to sell if it's your solo names on it.
Yeah, they didn't like his vocals. Apparently they didn't like the vocals. There's a demo though. If you can look it up, and his vocals are fine on it. They just wanted it to be a BOC record to sell records, like you're saying.
Right. And the other thing to mention is that we talked about it, Dennis. In December of 2020, Albert Bouchard reissued Reimaginos, which is his original versions of what they're re-recorded. Their current recordings, like from the 2000s, late 2000s, but teens, but they are very stripped down, very different in a lot of ways. They retain the same song structures, but they sound very different. And his voice is very bluesy and husky and kind of sounds like he smoked a lot of cigarettes. He doesn't, though. He's a runner. Let's also mention that
He's a runner.
Yeah, he was a marathon runner, Bouchard. I read. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, you got to mention that there are a lot of studio contributions on here, many of which are not even noted on the album.
Yeah.
It has Robbie Krieger from The Doors playing guitar. Aldo Novas comes back and plays guitar and synth. And also Joe Satriani is on a lot of these tracks.
And I think Aldo Nova is on some of these as well.
He is. Yep. Also, basically, again, the Columbia Records said you got to get Bloom and Buck Dharma to sing on this album.
Right.
Put it out. So they went out and got them, and there is one guest singer on one song we'll talk about because it's weird. The guy's from where I live, right across the river. He's literally right in the next city next to me. The singer on The Siege and Investiture of Baron von Frankenstein's Castle at Syria.
Great song, man.
Killer song. I'm almost done with the history. Hang on. Here you go. The album, the name of the book that Popoff wrote is called Flaming Telepath, and you can order it for $40 on his website. Okay, last little bit of stuff on this. There are 2 tracks missing that were originally supposed to be on here. From when BOC released it, the Columbia cut those from the final version. They are on Albert's Reimaginos version. Their songs are called Gil Blanco County and Girl That Love Made Blind. Also, there's a 3rd track on Albert's Reimaginos called Black Telescopes that was added as a final track. So that is the thumbnail history of Imaginos. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'll go.
Go.
All right.
Seeing as how it's number two.
Number two.
BOC
I was gonna say it's number two for you. Cool. All
it's
right.
number two, even though it's
Right.
not a BOC record technically, but I mean it is because I mean he was writing those fucking songs anyways, those lyrics back anyways, so it doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right.
I am the one you warm me up. Come on, man. That's fucking amazing. Lost Availability, Invisibles. Those are the guys.
Yeah.
I think
Les Invisibly.
Invisibles. Those are the ones that are
The Watchers.
the watchers that are coming after them. Are the ones that are watching. So, in the presence of another world, probably my favorite song on the record.
Fuck yes.
I mean, that's a fucking man. I can't even explain these tracks. Del Rio song's a good song. Siege of Von Frankenstein, man, just a banger. And then Astronomy, of course, redone for this record.
And also, you should note, Buck is singing it, not Eric.
Yeah, and
It's different.
and it's different, but it's not. I think it fits the record, I guess. Right along with the Blue Oyster Cult. What was the name of that song? Salt. That's from the first record, right?
No, Blue Oyster Cult is that a rewrite? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
that
Oh,
was they redid that song. It's another song.
Let me look here. I don't know if I have. Yeah, I didn't know that. You might be right about that.
I didn't know that
I
either.
think that's on one of the first couple of records.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but I didn't. I'm surprised with all the shit I wrote down. I missed that.
Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult. They just changed the name of the song and redid it. But that's a great song. Magna of Illusions, Imaginos. I mean, yeah, it's again. This to me is like if you did Unknown Origin. This just continues on from that to me. It's a great concept record about aliens and another dimension that you can't fucking understand. Subhumans. Thank you, Scott.
Subhuman. That's it.
Subhuman. Yeah. So they redid that song and renamed it Blue Oyster Cult. But yeah, man. To me, well, that's why this is my number two, because Unknown Origins number one, this one's number two, and then fucking Spectres. So
Cool.
there you go.
Eli, Imaginos.
I got this one at, although I think I like it more than I have it at number 8, but I could probably bump it up a few. But you know, it's hard to do. This is their most like you guys both said, maybe it's not a true Blue Oyster Cult album, but if you were to say that it was, it's like their most metal sounding album.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess you could, I don't know if I'd say maybe it's their heaviest, but yeah, their most modern metal sounding. It sounds like something that came from the 80s, but not in a bad way. Like, you know, the good 80s.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. And yeah, I have never read the concept, but I probably should. I should read through the lyrics because it sounds.
Oh, you love it, dude.
I knew about the characters and stuff. Yeah.
You love it.
So Jeff, are you saying that they're gonna make a follow up to this soon, or what?
No, they're not going to. Albert.
Just Albert
Broussard.
is.
Yeah,
Albert,
Reimaginos.
he did Reimaginos, and I believe the second album is either ready to come out or has just come out. I'd have to look it up, but I think it's ready to come out, and he's.
I thought Reimaginos was. I thought he just covered the or re-recorded the album.
He did, but he also has the 3 tracks that didn't make the album, and it's very different, but it's pretty fucking cool.
I should probably check that out then.
Would I say it's as good as this album? No, I really wouldn't, but it's just because it's very different. You almost can't compare them, even though they're the same songs. You can't compare them. They're just very, I would almost say that the Reimaginos is kind of like the unplugged version. Not that there's no heavy guitars on it, but it's not like Imaginos.
It's not as heavy, yeah.
Yeah, it's not as heavy.
I didn't know that they put Astronomy on this album too. I guess I forgot about that.
Astronomy and Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, yeah. Shit. I'm sorry, guys. Hang on.
I guess I didn't notice that. Are they played the same way, or are they just same?
Yeah, it's different. I definitely Blue Oyster Cult's a different version. I mean, they're both different, but they're the same songs, but played slightly differently, like with different keyboards and different style, different. Even the speed, I think, of Astronomy is completely different.
I guess they probably did that just because those lyrics were written a long time ago and they just needed to use them.
Because they started writing this when the first album came out.
Yeah. So that's actually cool then that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought this album was super cool. I think it's also a little bit underrated.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dropped my box set and everything went flying. That's why I went out of frame there. Yeah, I'm honestly, like, tomorrow I'm probably going to go back to the Albert's version and re-listen to it with, I didn't listen to, I kind of sampled through it just to see.
I'm going to do that too. I'm going to check that out tomorrow.
Yeah, because I didn't want to, I didn't want it, I wasn't doing a review of that. I was doing a review of this album, and I didn't want to get too sidetracked on it.
Yeah.
But what I heard sounded very interesting and pretty worth. It sounded like it was worth listening to. So I'm going to definitely do that.
Yeah.
Let's real quick hit a couple comments, then we'll. Oh no, I got to do my review. Sorry.
I'm going to take a piss. I'll be right back.
All right, man. So, I Am the One You Warned Me Of. Fucking great opening tune. So catchy, so heavy. Le Invisible, super cool. Earworm with Buck on vocals and the 777. Oh, it's so cool. Those backing vocals are so cool.
It is
Love
cool.
that song. My favorite song, In the Presence of Another World. Just fucking epic, man. Your master is a monster. Your master is a monster. I fucking love that song. It's it's probably my third favorite BOC song.
Damn.
Del Rio's song is kind of the pop song on the album, but I love it. It's great. It gets in your head. You can't unhear it. Siege and Investiture of Baron von Frankenstein's Castle at Wisseria.
That's
probably
a cool one.
Probably the heaviest metal song on the album. I dig it a lot. Really dig it. It's the only one that doesn't have Buck or Eric singing or Albert singing on it. It's got this guy, and I didn't write his damn name down. His name's Jim something.
I saw that too.
But what's weird about this is he was in a band around here called Silver Condor in Jersey. He lives over in York. His name's Jim Sullivan, maybe, or something like that. I don't remember.
It's like Cirilano or something like that.
Okay, I didn't write his name down. We apologize if you see this, sir. I don't have the ability to look it up. I don't know if you do, Eli. I don't know if you can look that
actually, I
song
think
up.
I'm right there. Because I was looking at the album. Yeah, it's definitely Jim.
Yeah, it was Jim something. And he's from York, Pennsylvania, which is literally 12 miles across the river. Astronomy remake. Not sure it needed to be on here. I'm not sure why they did it. I think they did it because it follows in the mythology.
Yeah, that's my guess.
I like it a lot, but it just pales in comparison to the first one, man. The original version, it just pales, man. It's just, the original version is just my favorite tune. One of my favorite songs ever, and I just don't vibe with this version like I do that one. Magna of Illusion with Buck. It's
understandable.
Killer track, killer vocals. The lyrics are really cool. It's got a real driving rhythm to it. Blue Oyster Cult, I did not know was Subhuman. I missed that somewhere, and
I didn't either.
I don't really hear it, but I guess they took some of the song structure and made it into this.
Yeah, I feel like I would have never known if you guys didn't say that. I would have probably
I didn't know until Dennis brought it up.
Yeah.
It's catchy. It's got a bit of a shuffle to it. It's hypnotic, really good. My least favorite track is Imaginos. I'm not crazy about that song. This album, for me, number 4. And I'll tell you, it could almost rival Cultosaurus at times. I could flip
I think so
those
too.
two. Any day I could flip those two. I love this album. Real quick on the final, Dennis, I don't want to piss you off, but I had to go number 4 on this one.
What?
But it could flip into 3 at times with Cultosaurus.
All right.
So
I wanted to put it higher. I do like it a lot.
Nothing's going to unseat Secret Treaties or Spectres. It's just not going to happen.
It's impossible.
So, real quick notes on this. Does it sound a little dated? Yes, some of the synths kind of sound reverby and big, but I don't know. It's, I love it, man. I just love this album. Again, it's not a BOC album, really. Not really. Although
Yeah.
they played a couple of songs in '88 on the tour when they went out, '88 and '89. They don't play any of the songs anymore at all.
I mean,
Yeah, I could see that.
it is BOC. It does definitely sounds BOC. I just think because it wasn't written by, I mean, they didn't. You have to think that Bloom and Dharma didn't write a lot of the songs anyway.
They didn't
So,
write any
True.
of it.
True.
so I mean, what do you consider a BOC record?
Well, and also Joe Bouchard. This was the last time he played with him. He left after
Right.
this.
Because he got fired, right?
No, that was Albert, his brother.
Albert got fired.
Joe was a bass player. Joe left to become a teacher, I think, or a college teacher or something like that. I think I might be wrong about that. But real quick on Albert Bouchard and the remakes. As I said, December 20th, he did Reimaginos. And it says right here, planning to release Imaginos 2 in late 2022 or early 23.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, we're already late into 2022, and I didn't see any info about it. So, did you get that name,
Yeah, it was
Jim?
It was well, at least the name that I'm seeing. Maybe this isn't who you were thinking of, but Joey Serrazano.
That's it, Joey Serrazano. I thought it was Jim.
Yeah, I did too.
Local boy, apparently. So, yeah, man,
Cool.
like Imaginos, if you really want a heavy BOC album that's not really BOC but is BOC,
Yeah,
get Imaginos. It's
a good
fucking
80s metal
amazing.
album.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing about this is BOC kind of goes into hiatus, a long hiatus, because they're dropped by Columbia and they are not picked up by any other labels for quite a while. I want to mention there is a remake issue called Cult Classics that came out in June of '94, which has re-recorded versions of all their big-time classic songs. That came out on CMC Frontiers. It was recorded and produced by Buck, Eric, and Steve Schenk at Millbrook Studios. We're not going to review that. We're going to jump on to Heaven Forbid, and I think I need you for this one, Dennis, because I don't own this one.
Well, just going back to Imaginos, I think if this album was promoted more, I think this would have been a turning point for BOC for '88.
Right.
You think, let's say, fucking Def Jam had released this record. I think this would have been a big hit for this band. I just think it was the wrong. They didn't have the promotion behind it. Listening to it and from '88, I think everything was in line for this record. I think this could have been a big hit for the band. It just wasn't promoted and nobody heard it. Just my opinion on it.
No, you're 100% right. Columbia did virtually nothing to promote this album. They didn't even really help fund the band go on tour. It was kind of you had the tension between Bloom and Buck with Albert Bouchard because he was kicked out of the band, but they worked with him on this. You had Joe Bouchard leave. Alan Lanier is gone. They're using a lot of studio guys now.
And they actually broke up as before this album even came out. They had broke up.
Right. They had broken up after Club Ninja. That's correct. They reformed as a result of this, but it was basically just Buck and Eric Bloom.
Yeah.
Real quick on some comments. Beat 'em up. Yeah, that song fucking blows. Kevin, I'm with you. I don't hate Cold Lake. I'm sure Dennis thinks I'm a fucking poser now. But
yeah, that song sucks, dude.
Turbo, best hair metal album ever. Tim, you're absolutely out of your fucking mind.
There's some good hair metal.
Hey, I'm going to tell you straight up. I love Nosferatu. I love Nostradamus way more than I like fucking Turbo.
I do too. Yeah,
Go ahead and fight me on that one.
Nah.
Avoid at all, at least cost club. Yeah, okay. I don't consider Turbo hair metal. Nope, I don't either. Cold Lake is trash. Okay, Nick, fuck off. I thought you unsubbed. Out in the Cold's fucking classic. Yeah, great record. Okay, our Red Leather Dicker. I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. WWF. Okay. Tom G's masturbation moans kill me. Yeah, he does moan a lot. He does moan a lot. You're right.
It's all moaning.
Oh my goodness, Kevin! Don't even get me started on those bands. Sisters of Mercy, Floodland, one of my favorite albums of all times. Bauhaus in the Flatfield, one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah.
Christian Death. What's the one with what's the second? Is it the second album with the song with the N word in it?
I don't know, but all those albums rule.
Well, the first 4 with Roz, I love.
Yeah.
I love those. Catastrophe Ballet, I love. I can't remember the other names of them off the other.
I mean, I think we're all in agreement with all those bands for sure.
Oh yeah, these are killer bands. And if I was going to live to be 70, we'd be doing a lot of things on those. Imaginos, Not a BC. Yeah, we got that. BOC album
Yeah.
only by name, like 7 Star. Yeah, pretty much like 7 Star. You're right. Thralls, Young Buck, okay. King always brought up Lovecraft. I don't know who's King. Oh, King
Diamond?
I'm thinking, yeah. Who did they sign with? Well, they eventually signed with CMC. No, wait. No. You have it, don't you? You have the cassette, right, Dennis?
Yeah.
Yeah, pull that up. What label's that on? I didn't write that down.
It's on BMG.
Oh, it's on BMG. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that was only for one album. This is called Heaven Forbid, came out March 24th, 98. First album in a decade beside Bad Channels, which they did for a movie called Bad Channels soundtrack. I've never heard that.
But there's they only did 2 songs on that, like actual,
okay.
And those are good songs.
John Shirley wrote a lot of the lyrics on this album, and it's based on mystery and science fiction themes. And
I think I have that tape too.
It was recorded. You know what? I usually write down the recording information. I didn't on this one. Sorry, guys. All right, Dennis, what you think of this one?
Heaven Forbid?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got some good songs. For me, it's hit or miss. I don't think I wrote down a lot about. Let me look at the songs on this because I don't remember them. But I remember Black. Was that Black Blade? Is that the name of the first song?
No, Black Blade's on.
See You in Black.
See You in Black.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
It is good.
So I like some of the songs on this. Some of them are kind of weird. Let me look at them real quick. Let's see.
Scott, yes, it is their most metal. Imaginos.
Well, actually, I think this one is probably Heaven Forbid.
This one's very heavy. Yeah, this one's very heavy too. You're right.
Yeah, it's got some heavy songs on it. I mean, what do you think about it?
Well, we'll let Eli go next. I have some thoughts on it. Go ahead, Eli.
I like it pretty well. I'll pull it out every now and then when I've heard all the other albums, too many times, and I don't want to burn out. I'll pull this one out, and I do like it. It is heavy. It has some of their heaviest songs they ever did in a more like modern heavy way. But it's definitely not as memorable as like the early BOC stuff.
That's a good comment right there. Perfect.
Yeah, it's heavy, not as memorable. I like Still Burning. I thought that was kind of a cool. Eric Bloom Buck Dahmer wrote that one.
Yeah, that's the follow up to Burning for You.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. I love the cover, the album cover.
Yeah, cover's cool, and we should mention there's an alternate cover with Morgan Fairchild on the front. I tried to find the story behind that, but I didn't find anything that I could latch onto. But yeah, Morgan Fairchild is like a what is that on there, Dennis? You have that?
Which one? No, the different cover.
Yeah, it's not on the inside. On the
no, it's not. But I know what you're talking about because it has 2 different covers.
Yeah, it's an alternate cover, and it's her face on a mermaid's body, I think, or like a.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's really fucking weird, man. It's like, why? I don't even,
and
that is weird.
The original cover's like, is that Shakespeare?
What's that?
The zombie guy in the cover, I think it's supposed to be Shakespeare.
Oh,
I always
really?
wondered what it was.
Yeah, it's like a zombie Shakespeare.
That I don't know, man. Eli, were you done, or did you want me to?
Yeah, that's pretty much. I always wondered what they So I guess they got back together 10 years after Imaginos. I always wondered kind of what their thought process was for that. Were they like, all right, we're back, or was it just like let's just put out an album for old time's sakes? Or I don't know if they were trying to make a comeback for themselves because they weren't very consistent. I guess they wouldn't. I don't think they were very consistent after '98, were they?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean they've only put out after this. They've only put out 2 albums.
Well, I guess the next album I guess is only 3 years after. That's a
yeah,
pretty decent,
and then they took a 20-year gap.
Yeah. So maybe they were like, all right, we're back, and then they put out 2 albums, and then they're like, we're old. Let's go away again.
Well,
but,
I will say this, like Dennis said, this album is right there with Imaginos for heaviness as far as guitar.
Yeah.
There's a lot more distorted guitar on it.
Totally.
The themes are pretty dark.
They might even be heavier at times.
I think it's super drum heavy. I noticed it just has a really drum heavy production.
Yeah.
And I do kind of find this one now. It could have been the stream I was listening to, but it kind of felt and sounded a little brick walled for me, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. I have this one at number 10, by the way.
I have it at 8. I actually like it a little more than you. So, See You in Black seems like a pretty weak attempt to be super heavy. I didn't like it as much as you, but Harvest Moon I fucking love. What a cool song. Typical Buck, groovy, moody sort of song. Power Underneath Despair, fantastic, man. Really great. Very BOC.
That's a BOC track right there.
Very BOC. X-Ray Eyes, another solid Buck track. Really cool guitars and melodies on it. Hammerback, riff heavy but repetitive. I don't like that song a lot. Damaged, funky.
Yeah.
Funky with really great guitar. And then we get to the 2 or 3 good songs I really dig. Cold Gray Light of Dawn. Holy shit.
Best track on the record.
It's probably the best track on the record, and it's really reminiscent of Secret Treaties and Spectres type material.
That's my favorite song on the record.
Yeah, my favorite as well. Real World, too bluesy on that one.
It is bluesy.
Too much funk bass on that.
Live for Me, cool track, very BOC. It's got great melodies, great harmonies, great Buck playing on it. Still Burning, sequel to Burning for You, sounds like, what the fuck did I write here? I can't read my own writing. I like it. I don't love it. I think it's okay. It's pretty good. I think I got 2 different things written here. I don't know. Anyways, In Thee.
What'd you write on that?
Say again?
What'd you write on that one?
I can't read my writing. It says Secret of Burning for You, and then says sounds something like Burning, but I don't know what I wrote. I can't read my fucking writing.
I wrote Van Halen-ish and Man on Silver Mountain.
Yes. Yep, that's it right there. You nailed it, dude. And then again, there's a re-recorded version of In Thee. I love In Thee. It's just such a cool fucking tune. So this one sounds pretty good. Again, this one only includes Buck Bloom. I'm sorry, Lanier is on this album. This is the last album he plays on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this came out in '94 and he didn't die till 2013.
Yeah.
So I think he is on the next one too, the Mirror one. I goofed that up. Sorry. So this includes Buck Bloom and a lot of session guys on bass, drums, and keys. Great guitar work on this album. Some really solid songs: Harvest Moon, Cold Light of Day, X-Ray Eyes, and the killer fucking or Cold Gray Light of Dawn. And then what's the other one? Power Underneath Despair. It's a very solid album. I'd give it, if I was rating it on a 10 scale, I'd probably give it a 6.5, maybe a 7, maybe.
Yeah, I would.
And I do think I need to spend more time with it because I will tell you, it's the only album I've never owned of them, and except for the latest one that came out in 20. And I just don't think I spent enough time with it.
Yeah, it's not the easiest album to find.
Right. Yeah, this one's difficult to find. You're right. And the album cover. I think you mentioned it, Eli and Dennis. Really cool looking.
Nice and horror looking.
Yeah. All right. So we're on to this one, which I'm assuming nobody has.
I have it on CD.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll
not with me though.
I'll show my copy.
Oh,
Curse
there
of
you
the
go.
Hidden Mirror. I like the cover of this. It's kind of nostalgically weird.
Very progressive rock looking.
Yeah, it's very progressive rock.
Dream Theater. It's like a Dream Theater cover.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or a Hugh Syme cover from Rush or something.
Yeah.
This came out in 2001, June 5th. Millbrook Studios, Buck Bloom producing. Sanctuary, it's on Sanctuary Records. John Shirley wrote
Yeah.
a lot of the lyrics again. This is the final album with Alan Lanier because he passed away in 2013, I think, of a stroke, or no, that was Perlman. Might have had a heart attack. Who wants to go first on this? Eli, why don't you go first?
This album, I bought this maybe a year ago, and I think I've only ever listened to it once, so I liked it, but I never like. Well, what does that sound?
That's my fan. Hang on, I had to
Oh,
unplug.
okay.
Give me a minute.
I was like, oh, something's going
Is it
wrong.
better? You better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've read reviews about this album where like a lot of people seem to feel pretty positively about it. I don't actually really have too much to say about it. I just remember liking it, but I haven't listened to it enough to like. I should have actually listened to that a couple times today because I was listening to it a little bit. Let's see. Oh, The Old Gods Return. That's a pretty cool song. Oh, One Step Ahead of the Devil is a good song. Yeah, and I don't remember the songs at the end. So I guess I in my ranking, I think I put this at number 11, which is kind of dumb because it probably should have been my bottom just because I don't know it as well. But that's kind of unfair anyways.
Dennis, you got this one? You know this one?
I have no idea about this record. I mean, I've seen it, but
Okay.
I want to go back real quick to the Bad
Sure.
Channels soundtrack
Sure.
because we didn't really mention the two songs on there that are really
Okay.
good.
I need to check those out.
Yeah, Demon's Kiss and The Horseman Arrives. Those are really good fucking tracks.
What's on the rest of the soundtrack?
I mean, it does have Blue Oyster Cult, but they have like they're with different people, like the Joker and
Weird.
Fair Game and different artists. They're like mixed in.
Weird.
So
Okay.
I mean, they're okay. Those two tracks though, those first two tracks, especially The Horseman Arrives. That's a great fucking track. Check that one out for sure.
Yeah, I gotta search them out, man. I may check them out tonight. after
Yeah,
we're done. I
those
never heard
those two tracks, check those out. I mean, check out the whole record. It's probably decent. I don't remember the movie. It's probably
I
pretty
don't remember
shitty.
the movie at all.
Yeah, it's one of those full
It's a
moon.
full moon movie. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably pretty shitty.
It's probably pretty bad.
But I mean, probably. I mean, you have to think it's shitty, but it's probably pretty fun at the same time. So
right.
I would expect
like
that. Yeah.
something to check out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have any real thoughts on this, The Curse of the Hidden Mirror, because you don't know it.
No, I don't. I think I listened to it one time, but
Yeah.
it didn't really grab me to even like finish
Pick it
listening
up.
to it. So
All right, I got some thoughts, and then we'll get to the last one and wrap up with some final stuff. Dancing on Stilts, good AOR rock tune, except for it's too long. It's like 6 minutes long, which I don't. It's just too long. Showtime, some cool slide guitar on there overall, but it's kind of a forgettable song. The Old Gods Return, that's my favorite song on the album, best song by far. Cool
I like
tune.
it, yeah.
Proggy, probably. What's it say here? What the fuck? Oh, probably the most old school BOC song, brooding and dark. Pocket, good rocker, a typical Buck song. One Step Ahead of the Devil, nice bluesy riffage. Eric Bloom's yelping is really rocking. I Just Like to Be Bad. Ugh, fuck that song. Here Comes That Feeling. Wasn't that a fucking? Here comes the feeling. Wasn't that an
here
Asia
comes
song?
that feeling.
Asia song, I think, wasn't it?
Not that I can remember.
This is typical AOR rock track, but forgettable. Out of the Darkness sounds like a Bryan Adams song, but it's not a bad. It's really moody, has an 80s vibe. It's pretty cool about war. That's probably my second favorite, Out of the Darkness. Stone of Love, fourth favorite track, behind Dancing in Stilts at 3 and Old God's Return and Out of Darkness. This is a cool one, and man, there is some fucking killer Buck solos on that song.
Yeah.
Eye of the Hurricane, solid rocker, good vocals by EB. Good to Feel Hungry. What a piece of shit. Absolute terrible fucking song. This is a solid rock album with a couple of really great songs, but I'd say unless you're a completist, it's not really a critical album, but it's definitely enjoyable. Many of the songs are kind of forgettable. Some, like I Just Like to Be Bad, are cringy as fuck lyrically about one night stands. Holy shit, that song is so cringy. And a lot of the
Interesting.
lyrics are a bit off-putting compared to the old stuff, which is weird because apparently this John Shirley wrote a lot of them, but I don't think he wrote the shitty ones like Here Comes That Feeling and Good to Feel Hungry. Those are, I have this at number 13, so it's just a step above Club Ninja, which is, if I recall, that's Dennis's number 1.
Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely is.
Number 1 right here, dude.
All right, we're on to the last album, and it's a 20-year gap.
Yeah,
During that 20-year gap, the band has continued to tour a lot.
yeah.
They tour relentlessly, and these guys are in their late 70s, which is crazy. I mean,
Senior citizens.
I'm fucking 56, and I can't get out of bed most days. You know? But anyways, the symbol remains. Does anybody have it?
I have it. Not with
All right,
me,
let
but
me see it.
I own it.
Can we see it?
No, I didn't bring it.
You fucker.
Let me see it.
I know I should have.
Well, where is it? Go
It's
get it.
it's in a box. Yeah.
Oh, you
I'm-
can't find it?
yeah, I'm moving pretty soon.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, the cover's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's
I'll tell
kind
you
of
what, Dennis,
it's kind of
Dennis, are you on-
computery though. Like I
Dennis,
wish
are
it
you
were
on
like
your
hand
phone?
painted.
What?
Are you streaming with a laptop or a phone? Do
My laptop?
you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Can you look up the symbol remains and show the picture?
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man, because I'm on my phone. I can't look it up. We'll do a
Oh,
couple
and
quick-
I noticed today that the symbol remains is a line in one of their songs, that one of their
It
earlier
is.
songs. Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to hit on this comment. Scott, the first Reimaginos is out. That came out in December of 20. The recent thing I saw was that Albert says he's aiming to have Imaginos 2 out by late 22 or early 23. It's not out. Dan says, just wanted to say what a blessing to find your guys' channel. Yeah, man, we're all of us, you know, Dennis Analog Archives really focuses on cool old VHS horror and fucking trippy, bizarre movies. He focuses a lot on old school thrash because he's from the Bay Area and got to see those bands when they were happening at Ruthie's and the Stone and Mabuhay and all that
Yep.
stuff like that. So he's really, and he loves death metal too. He's got OG shit out the ass. He's Captain OG, by the way.
OG
Eli
press.
really Eli's all over the map, man. He talks about some of the most obscure, fucked up black metal that, frankly, I just can't get into. Sorry, Eli, I just can't.
No,
But
it's
he also
understandable.
talks about Alice in Chains and Genesis. We did a Genesis ranking on his channel 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah,
And he does a
Genesis.
lot of movie reviews and shows a lot of movie stuff, and his dog, Louie. And so, yeah, and on my channel, it's primarily deep dives, like panel deep dives. I don't do a lot of collection update stuff because I don't. There's a reason, but I'm not going to get into it. My collection is in many, many boxes all over my house because I don't have a place I can put them up. So it's kind of hard. I got to go dig for shit when I do these deep dives. I don't want to dig just to show stuff off. It's just not worth it. But Scott, yeah, I don't think it's. I'm 99% sure it's not out. John Shirley, great writer. Yeah, here Nick says Bad Channel's a wild movie. I never heard of it. Yeah, they are hard to find.
Yeah.
I found a bunch of copies of God
Nice.
Forbid, and I made or Heaven Forbid, and I made an offer. The guy wanted like $12, and I offered $6, and he told me to fuck off.
Stop, dude. This is $9, bitch.
Full Moon movies are weird. Thanks for recommendation, Dennis Scott. Eurythmics, Here Comes Rain Again. I don't know what that's in relation to. Great stream, bro. Yeah, man, you're gonna fucking buy some BOC, Frederick, you bastard. And we're
You
gonna
got to
try
start
do
with
the
one
eight-
album.
we're
Just
gonna-
get one album and just let it sit with you for a while.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to do the atheist thing too. It's probably not gonna include Kelly though. Surf Ninjas. All right, last one. I'm gonna jump ahead. Okay, Tainted
Atheist.
Blood. We're almost there. We're gonna talk about it. Let me see it, Dennis. You got it? Picture?
There we go. I like it. It's very CGI looking, very
Yeah.
it's not the greatest, but I kind of like
No.
it. It looks like the symbols coming down from heaven or from the
I
heavens.
mean, it's not worse than Club Ninja, right?
No, God no. All
I just wish it were like hand painted or hand drawn.
Right.
right, does anybody know this album? Jamie
Yeah,
and Eli?
heard it.
Oh, you've heard it?
Yeah,
What's
it's a
your
great
favorite?
fucking record. I love. I mean,
It's
not
surprisingly
love,
good.
it's a really good comeback record. It's I wouldn't say classic BOC, but it has those elements to it.
Some of the songs definitely are classic
Yeah.
BOC.
I mean, I just feel like it's a great record. If you can find it, pick it up. But I don't know the songs. I mean, I'm not gonna say like this song blah blah blah, but it's a good record.
Yeah.
Right on. And again, this is the first one that came out in 20 years, so
Yeah.
it's hard to believe they went that long without putting an album out. But when they did, this album is very, very good, and I'll get to that in a minute. I got a lot of notes on it, surprisingly. Eli, what you got on it?
Yeah, I like this album too. I was kind of skeptical when it came out because it had been. I mean, I trust the BOC guys to make good music, but it was like, you got Eric Bloom, you got Buck Dharma, and you
Right.
have two touring guys that were just like touring members, and then a new drummer.
Well, one thing to note there is that Richie Castellano's been with them for a long time, like
yeah, like
15 years.
2004 or something. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's a kick-ass fucking guitar player. I mean, killer guitar
he's
player.
a talented like session guy. Yeah, he can play
good
like
singer,
all
good
kinds of
singer,
different
plays
instruments,
keyboards.
and
Pretty sure he did the production on this, didn't he?
I think so. I think he does producing.
Yeah, Buck, Brown, Bloom, and Castellano, and I forgot to mention it came out October 9th, 2020 on Frontier Records, and it was recorded at Mercy College Studios. So there you go. They did it in
Yeah.
a college studio, but it sounds great. The production's amazing.
Yeah, it does sound really good. It's like we were talking about earlier. It's a little too long. It
My
doesn't
only
need to be
complaint.
more than it doesn't even need to be more than an hour or even an hour, more than 45 50 minutes.
I was
but,
going to say 45 to 50 would have been good.
yeah, my favorite song on here is the Alchemist. Is an awesome
Yes.
song. It's just like
Yeah.
thematically that's definitely like a prime DOC,
And that's
taking this-
classic BOC right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best song on the record for me. Honestly,
Yeah, it's a fun song, definitely. Yeah,
I think it's a great song. I think
Any other tracks on there, Eli?
that's I think that's the only one that I really like totally remember. I still need to listen to this a few more times, even though
Yeah.
I've had it since it came out. But yeah,
All right. I got some good notes on this one. And
Cool.
then we can kind of tie everything together at the end. And we'll show, I have two or three quick things to show, and then we can wrap. But for this album, I was very surprised by it. When I heard the first single, Box in My Head, I was like, whoa, that's fucking cool. That's a cool, solid BOC buck rocker.
yeah,
I like that tune a lot. It actually, the lead work on it is fucking incredible on that song. It's so good. That
Yeah.
was me. Cool, heavy track. Good opening track. My second favorite, but could be my favorite, along with The Alchemist, Tainted Blood is so goddamn good. Oh my god, that's a vampire song too, man.
oh hell yeah,
It's so fucking good. Great tune, amazing singing, killer guitar work. Nightmare Epiphany, okay tune, not great. Edge of the World, nice and heavy, catchy, great guitar by both guys, great guitar. The Machine, meh. Typical rocker, not that great. Train True, Lenny's song. Bluesy harmonica, okay, but I would cut this song. The Return of Saint Cecilia, some great guitar work. Okay tune, but not great. Stand and Fight, cool, heavy track. Probably the most metal song on the album. Florida Man, it's a buck tune that just kind of goes nowhere. It's kind of anticlimactic. I don't really like that song that much for Buck. The Alchemist, best song on the album. Very BOC, very cool. The next one, Secret Road, probably my third favorite. Very, very Secret Treaty sounding. Man, so much great guitar work on it. There's a Crime, heavy rocker, a bit predictable. Fight, the last song, it's kind of mellow. It kind of ends on a mellow song, but I love it, man. It's really, really, really good. Kind of It's not a ballad. It's just a gentle. It's like in thee. It's like in thee song. Here I got Return of Saint Cecilia sounds like Night Ranger. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Um, the Stand and Fight has that call and response vocals, which generally I'm not big on, but I kind of like it on here. So solid late entry into their catalog. The major criticism would be I would cut 3 or 4 songs. I'd probably cut Train True, The Machine, The Return of Saint Cecilia, and Florida Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the rest of them, if they did that, man, this would be a fucking banger, like an 8. But those other songs just drag on. It does not need to be 61 minutes, man. It's too long. Still very melodic, but heavy. There's some metal moments on it.
Yeah.
Some really good singing on it. Some great singing on it.
Yeah, a lot of vocals from Richie on this.
Yes, Richie.
So
sings
you
like
got to
4
be prepared
songs.
for that. But he's got a great voice.
Great voice. Great
Yeah.
voice.
He's a good fit for that band.
We should note finally that this is the first recorded material with longtime members Richie Castellano on guitars, drums, and lead vocals. I'm sorry, guitars, keys, and lead vocals on 3 tracks. And Jules Rondino on drums, and Danny Miranda on bass. They've all been touring guys that have been with the band for at least 10 years or so.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
all right, guys. So I'm going to show these real quick. Anybody got any weird things they want to show that they didn't show? Let me know. I have this box set. It's the Workshop of the Telescopes.
I've seen that before. What's on it? Yeah.
It's Cities on Flame, Transmania Khan, Before the Kiss of Redcap, Stairway to the Stars, Buck's Boogie, Workshop of the Telescopes. But that version is an unissued promo only version, first time on CD. The Red and the Black, that's also a promo version that was never issued before. 7 Screaming, Career of Evil, Flaming Telepaths, Astronomy, Subhuman, This Ain't the Summer of Love, ETI, Godzilla, Don't Fear the Reaper, Going Through the Motions, Golden Age of Leather, Kick Out the Jams, We Gotta Get Out of This Place, Indie, The Marshall Plan, Veteran of Sacred War, Burning for You, Dominance and Submission, Take Me Away, Shooting Shark, Dancing in the Ruins, and Perfect Water. I don't know why I bought this. It may have been the first thing I ever bought by them. And I probably then was like, oh, I got to get a lot of these albums, right? Also in the box set are these. The Rarities disc, which you can only get in the box set.
I need that.
It includes Stairway to the Stars Live 75, Red and the Black, Buck's Boogie, Cities of Flame, Workshop of the Telescopes, Live 72. That was on a promo-only EP called the Blue Oyster Cult Bootleg. Dr. Music, The Vigil, Great Sun Jester, Indie Mirrors, was recorded live 79. Originally released on Set List, the very best of Blue Oyster Cult Live. Steppin' Razor, it's a unreleased rehearsal demo. Godzilla live mono version. Double Talk, Rebel, Sumacone Loud from the film Teachers. They also did that movie, apparently.
Nice.
Teachers. I don't remember those songs, I'm not going to lie. I'm on the Lamb, but I Ain't No Sheep, and John L. Sullivan are demos from the Soft White Underbelly, which were on that catalog promo sampler.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they do a cover of She's So Heavy, I Want You, 1980 live. And then there's a Stephen King outtake from Astronomy from Imaginos, where there's a spoken intro there.
Nice.
And then the last thing to show here that I have is the best of the broadcast. So these are all live broadcasts, and that is exclusive to the box set. And it's got intro Dr. Music, Lips in the Hills, live 1980, Before the Kiss of Red Cats, 7 Screaming Dizbusters, Workshop of the Telescopes, 1983. It's Not Easy, which is an unreleased track, recorded September 80. It's got Wings of Mercury. You guys ever hear that song?
No.
That song kicks ass, Dennis. You got to check out Wings of Mercury.
Right.
It was never released, and I'm not even sure what it was supposed to be on, but that's a live version from 86. Arthur's Comics and Black Blades, live 1980. Joan Crawford, live from 1981. 5 Guitars, which is Golden Age of Leather from September 80 from San Francisco, the old Waldorf. And lastly, Dancing in the Ruins and Take Me Away from Santa Monica Civic Center, March of 1986. Again, those are exclusive only to the box set. That's the only place you can find them. And I had one more thing, but I don't know where the hell it went. I must have dropped it. Hold on. Oh, there it is. And again, before I had the box set, I was looking for Burning for You, and this is like I was saying 2002 or 3. I could not find a copy of Burning for You on CD for the longest time. So I ended up getting this thing.
Yeah.
Which is like a comp of the first album, Fire of Unknown Origin, and ETI Live. And it's a Sony Music thing. So it's 3 CDs, Digipack. It's kind of shitty, but, you know. And really, I have all these recordings, so it's something I should probably get rid of. But nobody's going to buy that. You know, that's an old thing. So let's tie it up with, I had some thoughts on what makes this band special. Dennis, what makes this band special?
For me, it's the number one, the concept of all their lyrics. I mean, for me, it's aliens and the supernatural, and the music fits what the lyrics are about to me. And every song is so different. They don't, even on their like commercial records, they don't stick to one sound. Even on Mirrors, they have different sounds. So to me, they're a band that you just can't describe. If someone says, "What does Blue Oyster Cult sound like?" You can't. Well, they sound like metal. They sound like hard rock. They sound like new wave. They sound like funk. They sound like disco.
Prog.
Yeah.
You can't prog. You can't describe BOC
Nope.
in one word.
Nope.
But overall, it's a supernatural band that pushes the limits and
Creatively.
every time you listen to a record, you hear different things. So you can't say, "Well, I don't like that album because it sounds like shit." And then next time you listen to it, you're like, "Well, maybe it doesn't sound like shit. I kind of like this."
Yeah.
So that's the thing with this band is you can't pigeonhole them to one
Genre.
to one genre. They're all over the place. Yeah, they have radio songs. Yeah, they have metal songs. Yeah, they have prog songs. Yeah, they have ballads. Yeah, they have disco songs. They have
AOR songs and
AOR songs. It's everywhere.
yeah.
Right.
And that's what I love about this band. But overall, just every time you listen to them, it's just a great band.
Yeah. I Eli, how about you? You have some thoughts on what makes?
Yeah, I
it-
was
know
definitely gonna say I was definitely gonna say the lyrics. I actually encourage people to. There's a couple websites that you can find that will like break down what all the songs mean, and I bet you a lot of them, 90% of them, you wouldn't have guessed that they're about that. So I definitely encourage people to go look up the meanings of the lyrics and stuff. It's really fun, to be honest. And I guess they did a lot of cool live stuff too. Like in the 70s, like they would, when they played Godzilla, they'd have like a big giant inflatable Godzilla come on the stage, and they'd have like, I think Eric would have like some laser ring or something. He'd have like a ring, like a Green Lantern shit, that would shoot lasers out and stuff. And I guess
By
they
the way,
did a ton of
Eli,
cool
I'm glad
live
you
stuff.
mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Oh yeah,
BOC was the very first rock band to use lasers in their concerts.
oh shit.
I
That's
that
and I
stunned
heard
me.
they were really shitty back then too. Like they'd break real
Oh, I'm
easily,
sure.
and they're really expensive.
But that's shocking because you think about bands like Angel and Rush, and you would have
Kiss
thought
and-
they would have been first, or maybe, you know what I mean, or a prog
Yeah.
band of some sort. But I was very shocked when I read that they were not only the first umlaut band, but they were the first laser band live. That's cool as shit.
That's badass.
Yeah,
Wait, have you guys ever seen the movie Stoned Age?
I have not. No,
No, I don't think so.
shit. Really?
no.
No, what is it?
This movie's
Wait,
about
who's in
these like
Who's in
it's. I think it's in the 90s, but it takes place in the 70s, and these guys go to a BOC concert. The guy gets shot in the eye with a laser during the Reaper, and he changes his life.
That's
Wait, who's in
awesome.
that movie? Is that a Rob Schneider movie?
No, Stone
Oh.
Days. Check it out right now. Fucking movie fucking rules.
Is it like
it
Pauly
really?
Shore
Holy
or
shit.
something?
No, dude, it's
Oh, okay.
like it's an underground movie.
Yeah.
Kind
Well,
of.
I knew Nick would know it, of course.
I
That
love
sounds
Stone Age.
That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Check
I
it out.
have a couple quick thoughts on what makes this band special. Shit. Hold on one sec. And I apologize. My light source. My light in my lamp in my room is fucking only has a 25-watt bulb, and I never got a brighter bulb, so I don't get good light. But the appeal of BOC for me is one, they were a very democratic band during the classic period. And I'm not shitting on the 3 later albums. They're all quality albums. I think they're worth owning.
Yeah, me
They're
too.
not their best material, although the new one is pretty solid. It's just a little too long. But I think the Democratic Classic Live lineup, they all participated in writing. They all sang, generally all of them sang at least one song on an album.
Yeah.
They were all great, competent songwriters and players. And they write catchy, melodic earworms.
Yep.
Songs that are varied in style, from hard rockers to proto metal to AOR deliciousness, to even poppy retro R&B and blues tunes. The ballads that they write stick in your brain. They're really, really good. Great, smart lyrics that are often mysterious or thought-provoking, and perhaps most important, the classic period. They were very consistent with every album they wrote. Every album was consistently good. You don't skip tracks much on
Yep.
with the exception of Tyranny and Mutation, which I'm not a huge fan of. If I start with if I start with the debut
Yeah.
and go down through the line all the way to Imaginos, with the exception of Club Ninja and Revolution, I don't skip any tracks, man. They're just fucking banger albums. They just and none of it is like, they had 3 major big hits. If you think about it, Reaper, Burning for You, and Godzilla. Those were the monster big hits that kind of put them on the arena stage, for touring. But while those are all great songs, and they're all, I wouldn't lie and say, oh yeah, they're in my bottom half of my favorite songs. No, they're in my top 10 songs or top
Exactly.
5. But there are other songs that are better. Dennis, you walked away when we were talking about Imaginos, and you said In the Presence of Another World's your favorite, which is mine. But just that chorus, your master is a monster. It's so fucking epic, dude. It's so badass. It's like, that could have been to me, that could have and should have been a major hit. You know what I mean? But yeah, great band. We're probably preaching to the
Choir.
crowd on somewhat for the guys that joined us. I think we had about 16 people, which is kind of cool because we're running later than we normally do.
Yeah, a little late,
I appreciate you guys starting earlier. I don't know if it's early enough to go hit the bar, although Dennis, you probably can stay home at this point. You got your bar at the house right there.
Yeah, Dennis not going anywhere.
All right, man. So I want to thank you guys both for doing this. Great input. I hope it was fun for you to revisit this stuff.
Yeah.
Sure was.
That's kind of the point of these. That's why they're so fun. You pick one band that you like a lot of their stuff, but you haven't listened to a lot in a while, and you go back and you go, holy fuck. I mean, like Dennis, when we jumped on first and we're talking, I'm like, dude, this band fucking rules. They just write incredible songs. We both said virtually the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's just super fucking cool and a mark of a great band. And anybody, Frederick, if we coaxed you into buying the box set or something, I hope. I don't think you're going to be disappointed, but it's not thrash, Frederick, so get that out of your mind.
Yeah. Don't expect heavy metal,
Yeah.
Like full on heavy metal.
But yeah, man. So, again, Dennis Analog Archives is his YouTube channel. Check him out. He's doing a deep dive with Matt and Marty over on the Dark Path on Thursday, is it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a Skinny Puppy. As Marty said last night, it was kind of funny though. He goes, "Well, we're swinging from Jeff's nutsack." I was on a stream with Marty last night, and I did a Skinny Puppy one back in September, August, somewhere, maybe October, and it's fucking killer. I'm not trying to compare us. Anybody's better than anybody else, but that might be my best deep dive. That deep dive rules. But this one kicks ass. I got to tell you, tonight's
Really good, man.
deep dive is
Really,
killer.
really good.
And that's down to the quality of my guests, and you guys were fantastic. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate Eli kind of maybe putting the bug in my ass or in my ear or whatever to kind of do this. Yeah, why did I say in my ass? I don't want to do that.
I didn't put anything in your ass, Jeff.
Yeah, so
What am I missing here?
not much.
can-
Not much.
you can
Not
you can
anything
join
you
next
wanna
time,
know anything
Dennis.
about.
All right.
But yeah, man, you guys.
We'll
were
do a
fucking
two
awesome.
for Jeff,
What's that?
Yeah. 2 for the price of 1.
2 in your ass.
2 bugs in your ass.
Yeah, don't do that. I don't want to do no butt nugget stuff. I hope to do some more deep dives. We'll see. I mentioned them at the beginning of the show. We'll see where we're at with that. But guys, man, super awesome. I hope that you guys enjoyed this.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I know I tend to talk a lot because it's my gig, sort of. But I did all the real deep research on the history and stuff, and so I wanted to get all that out there, and I appreciate you letting me do that.
Of course.
Hope you feel you got enough time to express your interest, and you guys are great content creators. Again, check out Dark Hymns from the Cold North with Eli and Louie and Analog Archive.
He's right behind me
Are you
sleeping.
still doing stuff with your kid, Dennis?
Yeah, we're gonna
Pop
do
up?
a hardcore deep dive next time.
That guy,
Nice.
that's your son, Dennis?
Yeah,
How old is he?
26.
Oh, okay.
Holy
I just
shit.
thought it was your buddy.
No, that's my son.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Your
Well,
kid's
Yeah.
almost as old as mine. I have a 27-year-old.
looks like you've taught him pretty well.
Yeah,
25 and
Definitely.
27. You have a kid too, right, Eli?
My kid's 14.
14. Is he into
Yeah.
metal? Is he into rock?
He's getting more and more into music as he gets older. It's funny, he's going through like a phase right now that like I went through. Like he's listening to like Hendrix and Pink
Oh.
Floyd and stuff.
Nothing wrong
nice.
with that, man.
So he's on the right track, I think, for heavy music.
Nothing wrong
Exactly.
with that.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Awesome.
wrap here. I am gonna do a post stream if anyone wants to jump in. I don't know if Rick wants to take that one. But I can do it if Rick doesn't want to do it. Nick said something about a post stream. Let me know, and if you guys feel like joining, but I like to separate the deep dive from the bullshit session afterwards.
Yeah.
So we'll.
I'm
we'll
in,
do
man.
that.
If you want to do one,
What's that?
I'm in. If you want to do one,
Okay, yeah, I'll set something up. Might take me about 10 minutes. No, but guys, I mean this. I think this is one of my better deep dives, and that's down
Yeah.
to you guys. It was
it's
killer.
fucking awesome. I just
So
want
you
to
guys-
say,
You
like,
guys rule. I'll
Yeah.
set up a post stream and see a couple of you guys there then, and people in the chat. We'll do something. I'll get with Rick and see if we do it on Rick's channel or mine if Rick's going to be up for a little bit. But again, big thanks to Rick in the thumbnail. Okay, yeah, Rick, if you want to set one up and get me a link, I'll get it to Dennis and Eli and Nick, and we'll see if Devin wants to be a douchebag and hop in with us. And
Devin's not going to even say anything. He's just going to sit there.
no. Well, he'll say shit if I start ragging on the Dodgers, though. He'll definitely say shit. But anyway, guys, you guys ruled. I really want to thank the guys in the comments because we had a couple
Yeah.
of really cool guys jump in. What was his name? Dan.
Yeah,
Dan, you're
Dan.
always welcome. Scott, you did. I don't know if you fell asleep, but you really put some cool stuff. Hopefully, some of you
Scott's
guys.
cool. Scott watches my channel.
hopefully-
He's
Well,
awesome.
hopefully, some of those guys that are your guys will subscribe.
Oh
like
yeah,
and
they will.
subscribe my stuff. And also thanks go out to Marty over at Heavy Metallurgy because he brought up this stream twice, I think, maybe 3 times in the last on Wednesday night. I think he did, and last night he did, and I appreciate that. I didn't see him in the comments, so maybe he had something else going on tonight. But I know he's going to be doing a BOC deep dive in November, I think, with Zoller, that Craig Zoller guy, and probably
Oh, that guy's
Alan,
awesome.
And,
It's all
I
the
think
rules.
Aaron, the metal theologian, is going to be on that one too, and they're big time DOC fans. So bring it, guys.
Nice.
And again, like I said, I may do a Stephen Wilson deep dive on Friday with Jimmy and Serge, and I'm trying to do something with Nick and Freddie on Atheist. Dennis, if
Hell
you
yeah.
wanted in on that one, let me know.
Atheists are awesome.
But yeah, man, you guys fucking rule. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And hopefully everybody got something out of this tonight. So
Yeah, man.
Sure did.
Fucking awesome. Thanks, man.
and don't forget, your master is a monster. All right, guys. I'll catch you with the link in a few minutes. All right.
Sounds
All
good.
right, see ya.
All right. Peace.
Right.